All right. Where are we? Okay. It looks like that is live. Yep, live. Kia ora. G'day, everybody. Excuse me. Just a live to run through a few things, but also just to shout out, actually, first off, shout out those over in Australia and in the UK. Yeah, for your time and for your support, in particular the Kiwis as well. But recently, actually, I was just talking to, he might still be on. I was talking to one of the guys over at in Australia, and a person from the UK sending through requests. And both these guys, as well as a couple of others, have sent through some other stuff, which is really humbling. So the guy over in Australia at the moment had a good conversation with him. Um, he's got somebody that's very interesting, somebody that's a close friend of his. Sorry, I can see I've got some unread messages from him here. That's a Vietnam vet. I think he's in his 80s, early 80s, from memory from the message. I think he said 81, and that he did 3 tours, I think, of Vietnam. Anyway, long story short, he said it'd be great if I could do a podcast with him, or an interview, which would be. But I really want to do them in person. So that's the plan. The walk and talk is great. If it can't be a walk and talk, at the very least, I'll be doing any interviews that I am fortunate to do in person. So not doing them via online or anything. That's not the intent with stuff these days. No matter how, yeah, no matter how, what's the word, enticing it might be. Definitely some stories. He made a good point. This person that he's good friends with, this Vietnam vet, has got some great, no doubt, some great experiences and stories there to share, and it'd be good to try to capture those. So I said, oh, maybe he might have to interview him. He might have to interview him instead, and that way at least he can capture those, because I don't know when I'll be in Australia next to do anything like that. And then there was another guy in Australia as well that got a friend. I think he's a former South African Special Forces guy, who he said that he could organise for me to interview if it was something that I was interested in doing. Would definitely love to. Again, I think I said the same thing to him. I want to do those in person, so rather than just doing them online. And again, same with the person in the UK. It's got a few people there. Hugh Keir is one of the people on the list. Yeah, there's heaps of people. Blinking Bear Grylls. There's Blinking Big Phil Campion, Mel Downs, Des Powell. Yeah, whole bunch of blinking weapons and stuff over there. Guys that have got a lot of lived experience and are good at expressing those lived experiences, or sharing them anyway. So yeah, there's plenty of people. US is no different. But yeah, just an acknowledgement to those in Australia and in the UK for the suggestions, recommendations, particularly probably fairly recently, the ones in Oz. Yeah, it would be great. Just got to work out how to logistically make all of that happen, and administratively. So we'll see how it goes. But at least I've got their details, so I can reach out and be in touch with them in due course if if the stars start to align, and able to get over that way. What else did he have here? Oh, and the other one's just, well, not just, but a few more reaction requests that have come through. What's he got here? Command responsibility, holding senior leaders to account, Major General Chris Smith. So I'll have a look at that. It's the clipping there. Oxford Union debate on fighting for Queen and country, features Ben Griffin. I'll have a look at that. And this other one, Defense of the Realm, Phantom Platoon, British Army Pathfinders. So yeah, some cool stuff. And there's a bunch of other things that have been sent through as well. I think a couple of these I'd actually already seen and done a reaction to at least one of them. And then some of the other stuff is, yeah, there's no shortage of stuff coming through. So thank you very much to those in the UK, those in Australia for excuse me, for reaching out and sending through the stuff that you send through. It is definitely received with gratitude, appreciation, and stored into a whole list of content, which I'm still making my way through. So, been on a little bit of a rabbit hole recently with the Tommy Robinson stuff at the moment, and obviously he draws mixed, uh, well, from what I can tell, some mixed emotions and thoughts and feelings in and around stuff that he has done. Some people just have no time for him, think that Tommy Robinson is part of the problem, not the solution. I don't know the guy. From what I have seen and I've shared in other lives, like I like the look of what it is that I'm seeing him do, and what I'm aware of, at least through the Carl Stefanovic interview that he's done, of what he's been fighting for and trying to do. Because until Carl had him on a show, I'd never heard of the guy. So clearly, Hope Not Hate and other media giants have done a great job in trying to silence Tommy for for what he's tried to do and calling out the corruption and mainstream media narratives that twist the truth, and people and things like that that get threatened, and not to mention the grooming gangs and the rape victims and all that sort of stuff, and the people within positions of power and authority that should know better, that should be doing stuff to stop that and getting justice for the victims, sweeping that stuff under the table. So I don't know why certain people would think that that's a bad thing to call out, but each to their own, I guess. Morning, Vanilla Butcher. Solly would love to link up with you in the UK, mate. Yeah, 100%. Likewise. I think we got some other people too. Tommy Robinson. Hugh had the chance to interview via a childhood friend of Tommy, but decided not to try get him as he thinks he's racist. Oh, wow. Damn, that's a shame. That's interesting to hear, that Hugh would turn down. I assume you're talking about Hugh Keir. Hugh seems like a great guy. Man, that's a shame. Like, I guess you probably figure out pretty quick. And again, I haven't seen everything there is to know about Tommy Robinson, right? But I'd like to think people would figure out, or I'd like to think I'd hopefully figure out pretty quick, just from watching on the media and the stuff and the people that I've seen him speak with, that I'd figure out if he's a racist or not. As far as I've seen, and again, this could be that mainstream media narrative that pushes that, where they clip certain things and what have you, and put that stuff out. But as far as I'm aware, Tommy's done interviews with black hosts, with white hosts, with all sorts of people. So he doesn't seem to be, from what I can tell, like I said, and I think I mentioned when I was doing a reaction to a live reaction to what I was seeing in his Carl Stefanovic interview, because I have heard people say that, no, he's a racist, this and that. I suppose at the same time, I think I do recall mentioning if somebody is a racist, maybe they're not going to come out and blatantly say I'm a racist. so maybe that is the case. Maybe he's a closet racist. But I haven't seen anything. Again, I haven't seen all his content, but I haven't seen anything from Tommy that says to me, "Oh man, this guy's blinking off his rocker. He's just a bloody racist." So, that's interesting. Yeah, Hugh Keir. Wow, that's man. I didn't think Hugh would, turn that down. But obviously, if he's got very strong convictions in terms of what he sees or what he thinks about Tommy, then he strikes me as a man that's going to live by his convictions too. So, yeah, nothing but respect for Hugh Keir and what he does and what he's done and continue to try to do. It is disappointing. I would have loved to have seen Hugh interview Tommy. Hugh even decided not to do a reaction request on a vid by Tommy, as he didn't think it was right to give him airtime. Wow. I think it's easy to call somebody a racist. Yeah, I agree too. I think it's very easy to call somebody a racist. Um, just wow. Okay, would never. Well, interesting. I've got why am I on here? Well, I was going to start on this panorama, but just before that, I saw this other bloody disturbing clip pop up on my YouTube feed. So I'm going to pull this one up. It's Carl Stefanovic. He's it was one of the first things when I got on the computer and opened up my YouTube, and Kyle is on there. It's a short clip. Gotta find it now. Street. Public safety versus bureaucracy. Kyle Slam's tribunal ruling. So I'm going to pull this up. Let me just... got to share the screen. That's always helpful, eh? Share screen. Oh, come on, mate. I'll get there eventually. Share public safety. Kyle, there he is. Share that one. Let's have a look at this. So this, well, it's about goes for about a minute or so. So let's just play it.
Well, what about this story? It is absolutely insane. An alleged repeat violent offender and convicted rapist is being allowed to stay in Australia, all because of a technicality over his rehabilitation. This will...
Check this out, eh? Like, just listen to that. A convicted criminal, serious offender, rapist, has been allowed to stay in Australia. Like, I'm not in Australia anymore, but like Australia is still near and dear to my heart. Like, I don't care what people say. And this person, by the sounds of things, is allowed to stay there on a technicality for what he's done. Why? Like, it seems like that movie Civilian Vigilante. So I've watched that. Apparently that movie's been banned in a few places. Why? I don't know. I think that's nuts. Maybe people are worried that people are going to take the law into their own hands. But just listening to this clip, it does raise the thought and the question in my mind: what is the government doing? What are the supposed people that are supposed to protect people within their country and execute the law and seek justice and all that sort of thing for horrendous crimes that happen to people? But there's a technicality in these loopholes, which people coming from other countries seem to be very adept at finding and exploiting for their advantage. Anyway, let's carry on.
This will make your blood boil. 2 years ago, the man was denied a protection visa because he was ruled a danger to the Australian community 2 years ago. And for good reason. Let me tell you about it. This is a man who spent years in jail for rape, and after getting out, allegedly broke into a woman's apartment to sexually assault her. But get this, just a few weeks ago, he took that denial to the newly formed Administrative Review Tribunal, and they completely overturned it. The man's psychiatrist told the tribunal that he's no longer affected by alcohol and drug use. So
that Kyle is right, eh? This will make your blood boil. It made my blood boil just listening to it. And just hearing, so he's still got more to talk about. But there are more people at play here and that are involved in allowing this sort of stuff to happen. The psychiatrist, as an example, coming in there, and I don't know, where's, to me, the crimes that he's committed seem like they meet a threshold whereby it's just, for me, it's an automatic nah. You get out of here, mate. See you later. Like, you're not, either arrest him, lock him up, then once that time's done, deport him back to wherever it is that he's from, never to return again. But not give him a pass and say, oh, that's all right. Oh, he's not affected by drugs and alcohol anymore, so he should be able to stay. Like, you physically force yourself on somebody, rape a female, or rape anyone, rape a person, commit whatever other serious crimes he's committed. I don't know how you can get much more. Well, probably anything more worse than rape is likely murder. So, but those two things have probably put them on the same footing. And the ruling for him to not be allowed a visa or whatever it is has been overturned. It's what message does that send to the victims and or to the victim or victims? Like, it's okay. You can come into Australia, rape another person, and then say all the things that a psychiatrist or the corrections people want you to say or expect to see and hear you say, so that they can then turn around and write you a good report, go and advocate for you and say, yeah, he's turned his life around. He's a changed man now. I wonder how the psychiatrist would feel if it was a female psychiatrist, if it was them that had been raped, and or if it was a male psychiatrist, if it was their daughter or their spouse that had been raped by this person. I wonder if they would give the same advocacy, impartiality, supposedly, for this individual. It's nuts, man.
Is not an ongoing threat. I mean, seriously. The visa should be off the table. It shouldn't even be an option.
And this is what I like, that Kyle is on his own now. Like, he's truly independent, like you said. Would he have been able to put this stuff out if he was still under the thumb of Channel 9? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But the fact that he's not under the thumb of anybody is great, because he can post whatever the hell he likes.
My team asked the Department of Home Affairs about this case. We gave them a call during the course of the last week. And while they wouldn't comment on the case directly, they did say this: the Australian government takes seriously.
And this here is piss weak as well. You'll hear Kyle read it out. The Australian government takes seriously its responsibility to protect the community from the risk of harm arising from non-citizens who choose to engage in criminal activity or behavior of concern. Well, that's great. That sounds really nice. Again, empty words, it seems. Doesn't seem to be any action being taken. Just some fluff. And they don't respond to the direct question, I believe, in regards to this particular person. There obviously must be some sort of suppression why this person hasn't been named or can't be named. Even that in and of itself is just disgraceful. Like, the person has raped somebody, violated them for the rest of their life. Like, they're never getting over that. Like, I shouldn't say they're never getting over that, but they're not able to change that for the rest of their lives, like, impacted and the ongoing effects of that. And this person gets name suppression, is going to be allowed to stay in the country, by the sounds of things, has had a ruling overturned because somebody, a psychiatrist, has come along and said that they're no longer a danger or a threat. Ridiculous.
Its responsibility to protect the community from the risk of harm arising from non-citizens who choose to engage in criminal activity. So reassuring. In North Sydney last week, a 17-year-old girl was allegedly raped on her way to work by a rideshare driver, a Mongolian national.
And just listening to this, would Kyle have been able to say a Mongolian national if he was still with Channel 9? Or would it have just had to have stopped at a rideshare driver? So then people are thinking, oh, no, it's some Australian that's raped a 17-year-old girl. I don't pretend to know what the answers are or to have the answers. But, man, something needs to be done with regards to what the law. A 17-year-old girl has just been raped. I think he said just the other week. 17 years of age. By, looks like not a small man, and a man of Mongolian descent. Does that mean all Mongolians are bad? Does that mean all Muslims are bad? No, it doesn't. But it should be called out if the person is... So whether it's a New Zealander, a New Zealand Māori, if they had done it, a Samoan, a Tongan, or whatever. To me, it doesn't matter in terms of if somebody calls out where they're from or where they were born and raised, and then they've come over. This could have easily have been a New Zealander, Māori or non-Māori or whatever, but from New Zealand. I've got no issue with media calling that out. Person has come from NZ and raped a blinking young person, a young girl in this case. Here, Kyle's called out. This guy, Mongolian fella, has done it. I don't know what's happening in the back end of Parliament, government, immigration, but clearly there seems to be stuff that should be looked at and taken more seriously. And then maybe with that data and information, they can start to, I don't know what it is, look at restricting looking at restricting people coming in from certain areas, whether that's from New Zealand, whether that's from other parts of the world. If you've got the statistics and information to back that up, then bloody implement it is what I would say. So if there's an increased number of New Zealand Māori committing more and more offences in Australia, as an example, well then, scrutinise and vet those applications to go into Australia from that demographic more closely. Like, it's if that's seen as racist because another country wants to look to protect their people, well, too bad. That's they're doing what I would consider a service to their country, to their people, to their citizens, if they're going to scrutinise people more closely. If the stats are showing that they're getting increased crime rates and what have you, from certain areas, like, that doesn't seem racist to me. That seems like some due diligence happening by people that care about what happens to people in their country, and so why not do that? I love my people, Maori people. Like, it's sad that the vast majority of our people, my people, take up more than 60% of the prison population in New Zealand. It's probably more than 60%. Well, at least when I was working for corrections anyway, last time when I'd seen some of the stats, and they have departments within corrections that are dedicated to collecting the statistics and all that sort of stuff. And so that's sad. A lot of that, maybe it has a lot to do with certain upbringings and how things happened as a young person. But at the end of the day, we all have the choice and the option to change and make change. But anyway, coming back to here, this Mongolian national raped a 17-year-old girl in Australia. Just prior to this, another person who has raped somebody else and has had a court ruling overturned for their visa so that they can stay in Australia is just trucking ridiculous.
He will front court next month. But it seems pretty obvious to me that protecting the community would not be letting these people walk free.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about this story? It is
Pause that. Sorry, not pause it. I can stop sharing that, I think, now. Yeah, stop sharing it. Anyway, that's crazy, eh? Like, mad that this is happening, that this has been allowed to happen. Sorry, oops, where are we? I think it's easy. Oh, yeah, read that one. Just because our feelings get hurt, racist is based on one thing alone. Hate is based on nationality. This man showed how true colors already. Stefanovic showed his true colors. Anyone who trusts him is foolish. Never ever trust these people. You mean that anyone who trusts Kyle Stefanovic showed his true colors? Anyone who trusts him is foolish? Interesting, bro. Interesting. Who do you follow? What do you listen to? Mainstream media? BBC? ABC? Or maybe you've dropped off. Either way, each to their own, eh? But yeah, crazy, man. I don't know what the it seems like a racist. I think it's easy to call somebody a racist just because our feelings get hurt. I agree with that. Yeah, people can find it very easy to call somebody a name, whether it's racist or what. Racist is based on one thing alone. Hate is based on nationality. Hate. I don't know. Hate can be based on a number of things as well. Hate isn't just based on nationality. Hate can be based on the type of acts that a person commits, whether you commit rape as an example, whether you're a serial killer. Like, it's very common for people to hate that sort of behavior. It's not just hate isn't just based on nationality, in my opinion anyway, and in my experience. Like, there's plenty of things I hate that have got absolutely nothing to do with nationality. So that's just my take. Interesting. Hookstagram at Hookstagram. That's your handle. Well, you haven't plonked in anything else, so maybe you've dropped off after you've added in your comments and stuff in here. But anyway, where was I? This started out as well, it still is, like acknowledging those in Oz and the UK that are sent through reaction requests and info and that sort of thing, and requests to do interviews with people. Yeah, spoken about that. Where are we? I'm going to, while I'm here, I'm going to do a reaction to this Pano drama. Where are we? 1737. Maybe I'm actually, you know what? I'm just going to go from here. I think I'm gonna go from this part. Where are we? Round about here. So probably I'll just chop this up into different bits and pieces. People want to watch it, they can go and well, they can find it online for themselves. Sorry. Share. Let's make that full screen. Let's do this. Put that there. And oh, it hooks the gram. Never ever trust these people. Yeah, righto, mate. Where are we? Play.
By Lucy Brown, who's an ex-employee. The last time we spoke to each other, we were screaming obscenities to each other. Now, she's been contacted by Hope Not Hate and by Panorama, who are working together on a project against...
So those that may not know, you can just look this up if you're wanting to. Panodrama, an expose of the fake news BBC. So this caught my attention when Tommy Robinson was talking about this on the Carl Stefanovic interview that he was doing. And I thought, oh, I have to see this. So I've actually watched 17 minutes of this. And I was going to just react to this from the start, but I got to this part, and I think this may be where some of the other stuff, it's all important, I guess, at the end of the day for context. But if you're wanting to watch it from the start and go through it, then do that in your own time, I guess. I'm going to just react to from this part anyway, and then probably carry on from here for a while.
It's me. Working title, Tommy Takedown. So I'm on the way to see Lucy. I'm actually really concerned and worried about what it is they're up to, because I know everything they've tried to do to take me down hasn't worked. So let's see what's next. Last time I spoke to you, I screamed some obscenities, some terrible things down the phone.
So did I. I also have a surprise for you.
Go on.
I thought I'd commiserate it, so I actually got your
No.
prison number
No, you
to
haven't.
remind myself the happiest day of my life.
What? 8208 4CG.
Yeah, that's the
Oh
one.
my God.
Laughed my head off.
Just when I saw that, so what's that, about 13 minutes in? Yeah, 13 minutes. I've seen 17 minutes of this so far, 17 minutes, 20 seconds. When I saw that, I thought, man, what she said to remind herself of the happiest day of her life when Tommy Robinson went to prison, and the fact that they open and that he's spoken openly about, and she's responded that they were just yelling obscenities at each other. And she said, you know, we both did. She did as well. And she goes and gets his prison tattoo on her wrist to remind her of the happiest day of her life. Just sort of paints the picture and gives some context in terms of how much I assume they must have really hated each other's guts. Now, if I remember rightly, from what I heard on Tommy speaking on the Carl Stefanovic interview, he said this lady was approached by BBC or Panorama, and even though she clearly was not happy with Tommy Robinson, she felt like her moral compass was one of such that she goes, this, as much as I might not like this guy, what they're doing is wrong. So something triggered for her, and she's decided to, from what Tommy said, be a double agent, which is in this case a good thing. So BBC, Panorama, big media presence, lots of power, lots of influence, lots of money, able to deliver a narrative that they want people to hear, right? And absorb and believe and run with and spread it out to everybody else. Hey, mate, have you seen this? Check this out, blah, blah, blah. and it happens, still happens today. But she's identified that and gone, you know what, that's not right, in terms of what it is that you're trying to do. And I assume we'll get in further into that, but it's just nuts that you can still, like I've shared when people have sent some messages to me when I did a short on Andrew Hastie, and basically I'm calling him a twat and a ball bag and a bloody idiot and a coward and all that sort of stuff. And somebody come on there and said, but hasn't your mate come out and defended him or whatever? And I replied to that. I said, I believe he has. And then I've just quickly gone on to say, but I have a different opinion to him, to Moff. So Harry Moffat. He goes, hasn't your mate Moff come out and defended him? I said, yeah, I believe he has, but I've got a different opinion to Moff. And at the end of the day, I still consider Moff a mate. Unless he doesn't consider me a friend, then that is what it is. But I still consider Harry Moffat a friend. And I think you can still be mates with somebody, but have a different opinion of something and or of someone. And Harry Moffat's formed his opinion of Andrew Hastie based on, I assume, having worked with Andrew in their time in the regiment. I haven't worked with Andrew. I had already been in and had left before Andrew got there, before he had done selection. And so I've never worked with Andrew. I base my low opinion of the guy based on what I've seen in the media and how he's gone about and the things that he's spoken about and his witness account or testimony in the Ben Roberts-Smith defamation. All because, RS beasted him during selection. So what? He wouldn't have been the only one. And he got recommended or told not recommended for service in the regiment. The regiment saw otherwise. They employed him. And then Andrew Hastie left and then accuses the regiment of a toxic culture and blah, blah, blah. Says he won't bend the knee, but yeah, I put a thing in there. He'll bend the knee, all right. Like if One Nation gets elected in, and hopefully they do, he's not going to walk away. What did he say? He'd rather go out in a basket or something or in a box than bend the knee to One Nation. We'll see, mate. Barnaby Joyce does a good take on parliamentarians or members of government looking to bend the knee when things happen because they want to keep their jobs and that sort of stuff. And, I just think Andrew Hastie's no different. I think he's a twat. So anyway, let's carry on with this.
Oh my God! Shit, Lucy, you were fucking angry. How have we ended up sitting here and what are we talking about?
Well, I received a very interesting email from one John Sweeney a couple of days ago, who is a big, was it BBC presenter for Panorama? Yes, apparently he's quite well known. And he's asking if I want to go for first it was a cup of tea, but then it was a pint. And he'll come all the way to Cambridge to see me. And I think he wants some dirt on you.
You was approached by Joe Mulhall?
Joe Mulhall, yes, hope not hate.
So you approached by Hope Not Hate, who told you, I've seen what they've...
And apparently this is all part of what Tommy has shared, the Tommy takedown, taking down Tommy Robinson. Like having a little look at and having heard what I've heard so far in terms of Tommy Robinson, I mean, the amount of times he's been into prison or been taken into prison, the accounts that have been shut down, like they shut down his Twitter account, his PayPal account got closed down, so he couldn't receive monies or payments or pay his team. I think his website got taken down. Like who has that power and that influence to just try to make somebody invisible, which is the words that he uses on the Kyle Stefanovic show. Why would you go to that much effort? This is just my take. Why would you go to that much effort to try to erase somebody off social media completely if you weren't worried about what it was that they were doing? Wouldn't there be more important things to try to erase from the media presence? Here's one guy, Tommy Robinson, who, like I said, people will either love him or they hate him. And he just refuses to back down. He refuses to go away quietly. And he's causing obviously a lot of concern for people that don't want what it is that he has to say being released out into the public forum. So it's crazy to me. So, if people aren't reading between the lines that, no, that doesn't seem right, then I don't know what's going on in people's heads if they're just completely brainwashed and think that Tommy is just this terrible person. Maybe he is a terrible person. Like I said, I haven't seen all of his stuff, but I like to think that I can leave a little bit of open-mindedness until I've had a little bit more of a look in terms of what it is that he does, what it is that he's showing, what it is that he's talking about, because he openly talks about that he talks facts, speaks in facts, not assumptions, that he has facts and that he shows the evidence. And apparently this panorama highlights and shows a lot of, I guess, the evidence that he's been talking about.
Told you.
Yep.
They told you that there's a take Tommy down.
There's a Tommy takedown.
Tommy takedown.
Yes, and they've been taken on as sort of advisors to the BBC to help them with interviews and to get information about you.
How easy would it have been for you to?
They offered me $5,000 for a front page story about you being a twat.
What you could have done, you could have absolutely destroyed me and my life and my name and my reputation, more so than that.
Offered her $5,000 for a front page story for dirt on Tommy Robinson. Again, like that's probably very much chump change, I would suggest, for a media organization of that size. But pretty easy to, I think she mentions, if she hasn't already, that they'll look to target people, the media, mainstream media, target people that are maybe appear in their view to be a bit vulnerable and susceptible to maybe making a quick buck and or catching them on the back end of maybe a disagreement to get some dirt and stuff. In this case, what it seems to be on Tommy Robinson. Pretty crazy, man.
More so than me going in prison could have done. Because you could have said anything and they would run.
I've arranged to meet John Sweeney tomorrow at 2 p.m. And by the sounds of it, what these people do is they try and be your friend when you're vulnerable and they ply you with drink.
I just seen a comment pop up. Sorry, the double screen isn't showing, so I got to go in between. Club Debesi, LOL, Lucy Brown, she's mental. Trust me, bro, this bird is mental. And Tommy is a Zio shill. I don't know what Zio shill even means, bro. I'm a simple man. Small words will work a heck of a lot better, and simple descriptions, whatever a Zio shill is. Yeah, crazy. Well, we got this is old. They hate each other now, so they're gone back to hating each other. So what I've heard and hear, this is that panorama documentary from what's his name, from Tommy Robinson, who talks about him and this lady hated each other's guts, and then she got approached to give some dirt on him, but she didn't like it. So then she went back and told Tommy. And now I suppose this is all part of this documentary. So now it seems like you're saying they hate each other again. So sure means takes money from Israel. Right. There's so many people out there, eh? Like with regards to the Israel stuff. I don't know the bloody dramas with Israel, Palestine, genocide on Israel's side, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's heaps of stuff, going on out there. What's this? You can't trust Tommy Robinson. Oh, I'm not saying that I trust Tommy Robinson, bruz. I'm saying it's worth having a look at this part here, especially when he's got supposed evidence, which I haven't got to yet. All I've heard him say on the Kyle Stefanovic interview is that he reckons he's got evidence, and this panorama shows the I suppose the efforts and the lengths that mainstream media go to try to, I don't know, cover things up. So I'm having a look at it and giving a reaction. I'm not even anti-Israel. Neither am I. I'm not anti-Israel or Palestine or anyone. So was it Zio Shill? I'd never heard of that before, but thank you for letting me know. And cool. If you're not anti-Israel, neither am I. I don't know what the bloody troubles are and stuff over there, because I haven't bothered looking into it. I think religion comes and plays a part whenever people feel slighted or people want to have their opinions heard and whatever. Genocide and all that sort of stuff, that may very well be happening. Probably it is. It wouldn't be the first time, and sadly, it won't be the last time. When regimes decide that they're going to inflict pain and they don't care who dies or who suffers as part of that. Not a lot old Joe Public can do when those superpowers decide to take action. Russia decides to invade Ukraine. The stuff in the Gaza Strip between Israel and Palestine, the US taking out the leader of Iran. Was it then also going into another country and kidnapping the president and his wife? Like, these superpowers and countries decide that they want to do stuff. Who's going to stand in the way? So here, having a look at what Tommy's sharing in this documentary, like I said, people either like him or love him or hate him. And I can't say that I love or hate him, but I'm interested to hear what it is that he has to say. Would I interview the guy and do a walk and talk? I would. I'd love to get an understanding. I'd love to ask him flat out, bro, are you a racist? Do you hate anybody that's not not from the UK or whatever? I don't know. Maybe people have asked him that question. Even then, I'd probably still carry on and ask him a few more questions. But it's interesting. I just want peace, and I don't really like talking about politics anymore. Hey, fair enough, man. I don't think you're alone in that. I think there'd be plenty of people. I'd love it, if there was able to just be peace and not corruption and not blinking all this deceit that seems to happen. But doesn't seem like that's going to end anytime soon. He's not a racist. You are one of the first people that I've read that comment say that. And that's great. Like, from everything that I've seen, I've shared my comments on some other live reactions. I don't think I've seen anything from that suggests to me, anyway, personally, that Tommy is a racist. People say that. People have their opinions. I think in the comments here, one of the kind supporters of my channel said a guy who I have respect for, Hugh Keir, former UK military, had an opportunity to interview Tommy, but I think on the comment here, on the basis of what he believes, he thinks that Tommy is a racist, so he decided not to. Yeah, each to their own, and I suppose what people perceive of other people when they're speaking or whatever it is that they're projecting will be interpreted in our own way. And I haven't seen anything, at least at this stage, from my perspective, that says to me Tommy is a racist. But yeah, people will have their own opinions. That word gets thrown about way too much. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that is the case. I'm going to carry on playing this. And what's this? What did you say this lady's name was? Lucy. What's her name? Lucy Brown. Okay, Lucy Brown. She's mental. Well, I must admit, I don't think I would go getting a tattoo of somebody's prison number on my wrist to remind me of the happiest day of my life. So, maybe there's what's the saying? Maybe we're all a few blinking marbles short upstairs from time to time in a number of things, and maybe she's no different.
And they tried to get you to say something that you wouldn't normally say.
I want to show what Lucy could have done. Well, none of it will be factual, but what Lucy could have done. Now, bearing in mind, I might not have been here. You could have just done this. Fake text messages, falsify sender numbers of text. So if you wanted to, my phone will be here. Let's change the number there. Now we'll keep that as receipt. Let's put my number here. So you effectively, as a disgruntled employee who fucking got my prison number tattooed on your wrist.
Joe Mulville's just messaged me.
Let's take down Tommy.
I'm flat broke. I've got no means of income. I hate you. Joe Mulville's just messaged me saying I can get you some money to do Tommy in. So I can go to fakemytext.co.uk and I can make you text me.
This was super interesting to me. has never once occurred to me until just seeing this video today. Like, because I'd watched the first 17, what's this, 14 minutes now? 15 minutes. So I've seen 17 minutes of this, 17 minutes, 20 seconds. It never occurred to me at all to look up a site to fake my text until seeing this this video, this documentary that Tommy Robinson has done. Who comes up with a site to fake my text? Like, the damage I think that something like that could do, like, wouldn't that be something that the government or media would probably want to look to shut down and close? Like, I don't know, call me naive, but seems like potentially if you can go onto a site called Fake My Text and you can set it up in such a way that it appears that Joe Public is sending you death threats, is sending you messages about drugs or whatever else, or a whole bunch of other stuff, it seems like you could do a lot of damage with that. To me personally, seems like you could take that to authorities, you could take that to media, they could screenshot that, you could forward it or whatever, and that would then become gospel. That would be like, that's what Joe here said, that's what Bob said, that's what Tommy said, that's what this person has done. They've got it here in the text message. Look, they sent it on this day, this time, from their phone, blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't that be something, governments and people would want to take down? I don't know. Call me crazy. What's this? Trust me, mate, Lucy is proper mental. There's a lot of law behind Lucy and Tommy's relationship. Cowlin Robertson produced this documentary. Cowlin. Okay, I don't know who that is either. Maybe they are prominent people in the UK. Has she got a good reputation? Is she proper mental too? I don't know. Anyway, let's come back to here. Well, if anybody, like, what are your thoughts on a site like Fake My Text? Seriously, Fake My Text. You don't reckon people are going to do some bad stuff with something like that?
fakemytext.co.uk, and I can make you text me, and then I can show
Panorama. My phone's here. I'm at home,
Right.
minding my own business.
I've got Joe Mulhall here.
Joe Mulhall offering the takedown of Tommy Robinson.
Offering me some money, and you have said to me, what?
If you have anything to do with this Panorama
Panorama
company, I will fucking bury you. You bitch. No.
Hang on, because I'm writing YOU, but you write you.
I write you.
Sorry. I just need to make it some bad grammar because
Yeah, drop the T's because I don't pronounce my T.
I'm going to put WIV instead of with. This Panorama, you wouldn't make that a capital letter.
No, I put with. I put with.
Okay, all right. With this Panorama doc.
If you have anything to do with Panorama
I
doc,
will fucking bury you, comma.
bury you,
You bitch.
Just to prove, I could have nothing to do with this. I'm not. My phone's here,
Yeah.
so I've not sent you a message.
Yeah. So let's wait a minute.
And the point is that they're actively searching with a far left organisation. They're actively working with my ex-employees to bring me down. What I want to prove here is how easy it is and how many other things in this documentary have been faked on me. If you had anything to do with this Panorama doc, I will fucking bury you, you bitch.
Wow. So, like, again, you could do some damage, like with something like that. Now, I don't know if this is just Fake My Text is just unique to the UK. Or I assume it's probably something that's accessible anywhere. To be fair, it's not something that I've searched up, even though the thought has now been planted in my head only on the back end of seeing this documentary or watching some of it. What's this? Yeah, well-known people within the dissident right in the UK. Kyle McGowan, Joe, since you've been online, have you been doxxed or anything like that? What's that? What's doxxed? Have you been doxxed or anything like that? Let me know what doxxed means. I'm not up with the play, man, with the with the lingos and stuff these days. Even that Zio shill Now I know it means, actually, now I know, what does it mean? Means takes money from Israel. So, yeah, I'm definitely not getting any money from Israel. And I don't know what you mean by doxed. Actually, let's do a search. What does doxed mean? Doxing is revealing and publicizing the records of an individual which were previously private or difficult to obtain. The term dox derives from the slang dropping dox, which according... Oh, bloody... where are we? No, that's not the part that I was reading. Doxing is the act of publicly providing personally identifiable information about an individual or organization, usually via the internet and without their consent, probably, and or with the intention of harassing or causing distress to the victim. Historically, the term has been used to refer to both the aggregation of this information from public databases and social media websites like Facebook. So, well, probably. I can't say I've gone to do a search to see if I've been doxed, had your personal details leaked, like your address given out by others. Maybe, probably. I don't know. If they want to come around, they're welcome to. Why they would want to come around is beyond me. Maybe they want to come and use the gym equipment or something. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe now that you've dropped it in the comments, maybe something like that might happen. Not that I care. Talk about enough. I'm based here in Wellington and Porirua, opposite the pad. There you go. So those that are familiar with the mongrel mob and the term pad, they'll have a pretty good idea of where the pad patch is. If people have got an issue with me and what I do in my little space, it would seem pretty crazy to me. You're too much of a nice person to be doxed. I wouldn't worry about it. Hey, thanks for that. I'll take that as a compliment. I don't know. Maybe there are people out there that might want to disclose information or whatever about me. Maybe somebody's got my what's the name? My prison, well, not prison, but my photo that I had to get taken, when I got arrested, charged and arrested way back in 1999 for the fight that I had with a civilian at that time. So at a birthday party, maybe that stuff comes out. Who knows? I haven't even seen that photo. I wonder if I could request it. I'd like to, because I think I had a bit of a black eye that day when they took it. So yeah. Anyway, let's jump back into this. Crazy, the fake my text stuff that is out there that people can utilize. Oh, sorry. Was there another? Nope, no other comment. Let's jump back into here.
Can you focus on that?
So I didn't send that.
Wow.
That's sent from my computer. My phone has not sent you a single message. Now, Panorama are the biggest investigative journal.
So one part that I don't understand here with this fake my text, he said that he didn't send the message, didn't send it from his phone, but it was sent from his laptop. So other people that may know, obviously more than what I know, in order to fake my text, does it have to come from either your device or your laptop to send the message to somebody else? You know what I mean? Or could I be on my own laptop, know old mate's mobile number, and then go to fake my text and then type in a fake message, make out it's been sent from that person from their device, which they know nothing about, and then it lands in my phone. You know what I mean? Or does it have to be from a device that belongs to the person that you're wanting a fake message to come from? Hopefully it makes sense of what I'm trying to ask. Maybe I've just bamboozled you, just like I bamboozled myself when I was listening to this, but I know what I'm trying to say. It's his laptop and his mobile. She has sent herself a fake message from Tommy to her mobile, but from his laptop. Does it have to be the person's device that you're sending the message from, or can it be from anything? I guess you don't know what swaddling is. No, I don't. Swaddling. Tell me. Swattling. Is that a UK term as well? And is doxing a UK term? Where are those terms come from? Doxed and doxing, swattling. Maybe they're replying. Maybe they're not. That's all right. I'll carry on with this video. If I don't see a reply, I'll just give me something else to have a look up later. Swattling.
In the world. So I don't see how this can work. If they wanted to do a proper investigative journalist piece, they should look at the crime that I committed. Was it criminal? Did the judge act out of law? Were my human rights abused? One of the biggest cases in this country's history in modern time. Yeah, 600,000 people signed a petition, 30,000 people marching, ambassadors from the American government, every political party in Europe talking about it. The most talked about court case in decades, but they're not bothered about that. This is fake. Yeah, this is going to be falsified. This is not me, and I want to see if this, by a disgruntled ex-employee, could make its way around the world.
I'd like to see how much power Hope Not Hate have over the world's media.
So I just saw that. No, a worldwide term. Okay, dox is a worldwide term. What's swattling? The action or practice of making a hoax call to the emergency services. In an attempt to bring about the dispatch of a large number of armed police officers to a particular address. Swatting. Sorry, I read that wrong. I thought it said swattling. Oh no, it has got an L there. Did I type in an L? Yeah, I did. But it's got here swatting. It's left the L off. Is that what that is? I was placing a hoax emergency call. Hoax emergency call, is that what that is? Sending police to your home claiming you're committing serious crimes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, when I typed in swattling with the L-I-N-G on the end, it leaves the L off and just does the double T-I-N-G. So interesting, but it gives the same definition of what you've just provided. Yeah, I've not heard of that before either. All these blinking terms up and around these days. Probably because I don't read enough, which I have been starting to read. I've been making my way through this book from How to Escape from Prison. Probably not the greatest title. People might think I'm up to no good, but it's a great story about this guy who turned his life around, Dr. Paul Wood. So anyway, still chipping away at that. I do need to read more. Swatting. Okay. I'm getting educated at the same time. See, there's lots of benefits to this, doing social media stuff. What did I get? Zio Shil. Somebody takes money from Israel, which I'm not getting. And swatting and doxed. Doxed. Information being released about you or about me. And then swatting, making fake calls. Bloody hell. This is... happens a lot in the US. It happens a lot in the US. Oh wow, it's crazy. Well, yeah, I haven't heard that in NZ media, in terms of news and all that sort of stuff happening. But yeah, maybe it happens. Maybe just not as much here, I guess.
Yeah, basically.
The next day.
This is the little minute. This will replace your button. This will go into your button anyway.
Right, I did hear him talk on the Kyle Stefanovic show that she was set up with the camera to go into these interviews. So interesting. It's cool that they show this. You learn something every day. Yep. Well, I definitely do, and I jump on these lives, and people are kind enough to spend some time here and provide their commentary and information. So thank yous for that. Where are we?
This is how we'll record. And are you nervous?
No.
You should be. You should be. And well, let's just wait and see what we get from this. Time will tell, but good luck. And don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Thanks, mate.
See you later. Success?
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Let's see. Crazy? Not crazy? Good? Not good?
Lots of alcohol was consumed tonight for the greater good.
Because ran it.
You'll see.
You took it for the team. I only drunk for the team.
I did what I had to do.
Right. Let's
get these files sorted.
work out what we've got. We've got lots of footage to go through.
I guess on the back end of this documentary, you would have thought, well, maybe not. Maybe they're just that big. These organizations like the BBC or Panorama, whatever they are, that they just don't consider, or maybe they used to not consider that people would be filming them with little hidden cameras to get information about them and or to try to show the types of tactics that they're using to go about getting a story, or in this case, I think Tommy refers to it as the Tommy takedown. Maybe they've changed that now. Maybe they have processes in place where maybe they check each person to make sure that they're not filming or recording anything that they're saying in these secret meetings. But man, it's just mind-blowing to me how corrupt and dodgy and shady these things are, or these things that can happen. That's this Lucy Brown is such a psycho, if you only knew. This is coming on. It was done to JD Dealey, a good friend of Nate from Valhalla VFT. What's that? The swatling, making a fake call. Lucy Brown is such a psycho. I'm sure if I went down a rabbit hole of looking into Lucy Brown, which I don't know that I will be. I've just been interested in terms of this, more so what Tommy Robinson has been looking to try to call out. In particular, when he speaks about Rotherham. Is it Rotherham? Rotherham. I think it's Rotherham. A place in the UK. Police, these grooming gangs, gang rapes happening. Police doing nothing about it. And now I think the person who was in charge of the police department at that time is now head of counterterrorism in the UK. Yeah, I think that's a good thing, him calling that sort of stuff out. Like if that's what's been taking place, and then you've got those reports that have come out which prove that people knew and things were being covered up. Disappointing though, however, if instead of people being held to account and thrown into jail, instead they've been given promotions or become heads of other departments. Just crazy to me, if that's the case. What was this? Thumbs up. Okay, cool. Thanks for that. Let's jump back into here and see what it is that they have.
The crazy thing for me is you're steaming.
Which is a champagne and a double gin.
Thank you.
And then we're going to have some red wine. But
Thank you so much.
we'll panic about that at the appropriate moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're on expenses in a boozer with the dog and the car. Good.
Yes.
I think we should have one more bottle of beer. Fuck it. No expense spared. 2 brandies, 2 limoncellos. This is from the...
Wow. Look at that. It's likely, so on expenses, it's likely publicly funded expenses, and just taking the piss, eh? Like literally. Just going to do what they want. Lots of, yeah, like she said, lots of alcohol and stuff there being consumed. Likely all part of the game, you know, to soften people up, no doubt, and get the information and stuff, I suppose, that they want. It's crazy.
Cassis, or the Keel Royale, but even better is another version which is with...
I was like, what the hell? Is this fella speaking another language, or is he just off his bloody face? Seems like it's English mixed in with blinking drunken mutter.
Blackberry, blackcurrant liqueur and champagne. Keel Royale. Have you got any flaming Sambuca? And then 2 Keel Royale. And then the bill. Lovely, thank you. Thank you very much. I think we've got to do a runner. This joke. It's fine. It doesn't. I don't care. Not only I really don't care.
Right. Is this guy talking about anything? Doesn't sound like anything so far. It just sounds like he's talking about bloody alcohol and not making a lot of sense. Is service included? About what?
Okay. Not only I really don't care. Service included. So make it 220. Thank you very much.
Was this on BBC Expenses? How much alcohol's been consumed? I've heard him mention 3 bottles of wine, champagne, flaming Zambuca.
Yeah, that's crap. But like, I thought it was going to be. I thought the point of the recording was to get the BBC guy talking about the story that they want to do on Tommy Robinson, the Tommy takedown.
All in 5 minutes, and you can hardly sit up. So, for me, that's an expensive scandal that the license fee payer is paying for. Should we be paying for you to get pissed? Yeah. Of course, you think we should.
Me getting drunk is me being more lucid, and then I'll tell him stuff.
So he's wanting to get you drunk. He's using the expense money to get you drunk in order to get information.
Get me drunk, be nice to me, be my friend, and then I'll loosen up and be like, "Oh, I've got this recording," or I can tell you this, or whatever.
You may not like what I'm about to say, but one of my political heroes is the former head of the IRA, who turns the IRA, not.
So I just seen a comment. Kyle McGowan. Joe, I get mixed up between the New Zealand flag and the Aussie flag. What's the best way to remember whose is whose? Oh, well, when you're looking at the flag, New Zealand flag's got red stars. Aussie flag's got white stars. Like the Southern Cross is obviously extra piece on there. When you have a look at them side by side, you'll stand out. So New Zealand flag, all the little stars that we have after the Union Jack in the corner, we got red ones. We have red ones. Australia has the same Union Jack in the corner, and all the stars on theirs are white. So that's the easiest way to remember, apart from when you're having a look at them side by side and looking at the Southern Cross, like on the Australian flag and all that sort of thing. And that extra, where is it? That's a random question, bruz. Bum, bum, bum. So when you've got the I was going to try to, I haven't got them side by side. So your New Zealand flag, like I said, the red stars, and you've got on the Australian flag white stars, and then they've got a couple of extra. So underneath the Aussie flag where the Union Jack is, there's this large star directly underneath it. New Zealand doesn't have that. So there's lots of ways to remember it. The white stars versus red stars is probably the easiest. And then with the Southern Cross, you've got on the Australian flag, there's another little white star that's to the right-hand side within the Southern Cross piece itself. So, yeah, I suppose it's easy for Kiwis and Aussies to differentiate between the flags because they're our flags. But, maybe hopefully it'll stand out a bit more easier to you now. If you pull up a picture and you ever look at them side by side, you go, oh, bloody hell. Yeah, the red stars, NZ, white stars, Australia, a couple of extra stars on the Australian flag as well. Should be easy enough. You're welcome, man. All good.
Nick Knowles?
No. Not the guy got on well with the Queen. So there are two of them.
I should know that, but
Daniel.
This guy, John Sweeney, is probably playing the part. He can probably drink like a bloody champion and not really have it affect him. But either that or he is actually drunk and bloody struggling with his memory. But I would assume if this is one of the tactics that they use to try to get information out of people, I would assume that he's probably fairly capable at drinking and consuming a lot of alcohol. does that mean it's right? And does that mean, you know, does it mean he's good to drive or all that sort of thing? No, that's probably not the case at all. But you know what I mean? He's probably coherent enough and sharp enough mentally to get what it is that he's after. He's probably recording her too, I'm guessing.
Danny McGuinness, I think his name is, and he got on anyway. He was the chief of staff of the IRA. People say.
Hey man, I've heard the Irish are being genocided.
And last time I was there, they're okay.
Martin McGuinness. His political hero is Martin McGuinness. Martin McGuinness, leader of the IRA. He's responsible for murder, bombs. It's a strange person to have as your political hero. From, I don't know, from someone who's trying to paint me as extreme anyway.
Again, I don't know anything about Martin McGuinness other than what Tommy's just mentioned there. Who knows, man? This so far, I haven't heard anything from this Panorama or BBC journalist that suggests that they're looking to try to get a fake story or something about Tommy.
That is the sole reason I wanted to do this. For me, that is terrifying. How can they get that? How can he say he can do that from that innocent conversational argument or disagreement, which has got nothing to do with that? So that is the sole reason I wanted that footage, to see exactly what are, and that's terrifying for me to think.
What? I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what is it to do with him, or I have just missed something. I'm not going to rewind it because I'm hoping he's going to elaborate and talk more. How can they get, it sounds like Tommy's talking about that they're going to be able to make a story about him based on what? Alcohol or Tommy McGuinness?
What the hell are they about to portray to this country about me? What the hell are they going to say?
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
That's not the first time that's happened.
In what sense?
Because I told you about, I was offered $5,000 to do like a story on you, like a front page newspaper story.
By Hope Not Hate, you're talking about in the kitchen.
Hope Not Hate. But I was also...
By Hope Not Hate, who are working with these...
Yeah, but I was also approached by a really mainstream newspaper, basically, to kind of...
Why not just name the mainstream newspaper? Like, if you've got the information and the evidence, maybe she doesn't have the evidence. Maybe that's why she's being cautious to not name the mainstream newspaper.
Make it out that you were like sexual allegations against me or something.
What, they were approaching you for that at a time when we fell out?
Yeah, they said when I was at my lowest and I basically didn't have a job and I was like, you know, a complete mess, and they were trying to like dig and get stuff out of me, and they were trying to make out that you'd done like a Me Too. They were trying to make out that you basically like abused me, and then they wanted to put in, they kind of ran with and went back to their editor, and then I called up and said, I really don't want this. This isn't true. You know, you've kind of twisted it to fit your own narrative here. And he said, well, I'm sorry, it's too late. I've already sent it to the editors and they want to run the story.
Wow. That's crazy. I mean, if all of that's true, did that get published? If it's already gone to the editors, did it get published, or did they get cold feet and go, yeah, let's not run this yet because she's not on board? Like she's called us. That's mad. So is there a story out there, is there, about Tommy Robinson sexual allegations against this lady who somebody in the comments here said she's crazy? Was it Lucy Brown is such a psycho? If you only knew, the person has got here.
This journalist. So I then had to call up, like, you know, this national journalist kind of like lawyery thing where you can call up and complain.
Speed this up.
And I had to put in writing saying, please do not put this out. If you put this out, I'm going to have to, like, you know, go against you legally or something. So I had to fight to get this story out of the paper.
From a mainstream journalist, from a top tabloid.
Big.
In order to portray me as an abuse, essentially.
Me as a victim, yeah. But it wasn't true.
With no truth in it all.
No.
And that for my life, do you know what, the whole purpose in me wanting this, the whole reason why I've wanted to...
I probably don't need to speed it up for when Tommy speaks, but I felt like I needed to speed it up for her. It's probably because she's bloody hodangi or drunk or consumed a lot of alcohol, and then it's just, I don't know, it just seemed like it was taking forever for the words to come out. Anyway.
Do this is because I've been absolutely terrified of what they're doing. And that one little recording there proves that they will change what I'm doing and saying. This is massive.
I don't know how it proves or changes what he's doing or saying. Like, I didn't hear what it was that the journalist is supposedly saying that they will take and say Tommy's been doing or whatever, unless they edited it out of this video. But I would have thought, if you're going to the efforts of making this documentary, that you would just put that in there so we could see and hear it. Unless I just missed it.
This is Britain's leading investigative journalist documentary by the BBC that we pay for, creating, editing news in order to destroy my life. Now,
and getting blind drunk in the process, or having quite a lot to drink anyway, at least in the process. Maybe they're not blind drunk, but taxpayer funded, getting out there on the lash.
John Sweeney's been contacting me for weeks now for a gotcha moment where he can interview me and throw all these accusations from God knows who at me. Well, that gotcha moment is now in my hands, because I'm now going to sit down and I'm going to put these to John Sweeney to see how he justifies any of this. So for 2 weeks now, I've been emailing John Sweeney. They've been trying to get me to sit down for an interview. I emailed him yesterday and said, the only day I can do is today, and I won't come to London, it has to be in my venue. I've organised this venue. I told them that I'm having a free speech event later in the evening. So we've prepared this projector with all of our undercover footage to try and find out and ask John, what exactly were you planning? What exactly are you doing? So rather than them grilling me, which is how they're expecting it to be with his executive producers, when they sit down, we will play through each clip. I'm going to go to my children's assembly now. When I come back, it's action. I'm nervous about it. See what happens. Right? Right, fine. Yeah.
He's been eating a few pies, that fella. Clearly been scoffing down a few drinks as well, or throwing down a few drinks, I should say. I still have not heard anything in terms of that, the undercover footage that Lucy got, which showed this guy that he's about to have to sit down with talking about what he was going to do to try to catch him out, unless we're about to see it in this part of the documentary. What do you got here? Hey, Dazza, hit the nail on the head, Joe. Either one of them know what's really happening here, or both of them are playing a part. Not to say the media aren't bottom of the barrel urchins of society. None of her body language is natural at all. Forced body language, forced conversation, interaction. I like Tommy and what he does, but he's bought and paid for, I think. So good. I've not long woken up. Excuse my typing. Been improvement. Tommy has different incomes. Holy heck! I bet that sounds like a whole nother area of, dare I say, investigation. if I was that way inclined to investigate. Interesting. Anyway, let's see what he throws up, because I haven't heard anything in the undercover, the secret footage.
Right.
John Sweeney.
Just before you start, I just wanted, because I am paranoid of fair and balance, I just wanted to clear a couple of things up with you while we're here. Is that all right before we start?
Okay, but you're recording, I think, aren't you? You're recording, so I'll say
that's fine.
Okay. So we're not starting yet.
That's something new. So, this is a panorama documentary. You wouldn't be working with an organisation called Hope Not Hate on this documentary in order to find people to give negative opinions to me.
No, that's what we're doing. We're making a panorama documentary. The BBC makes all the editorial reports.
Okay, so it's BBC, because it'd be quite strange for the BBC to be, how the BBC could be impartial on a documentary when Hope Not Hate are an organisation who are funded specifically to destroy you.
There are two separate entities. The BBC, I work for the BBC, this is the BBC panorama production.
Okay, can I just quickly show you something here? So what is this? This is Joe Morehouse from Hope Not Hate. And what he says in this message is that Hope Not Hate are steering this documentary.
My name's John Sweeney,
okay.
and I'm a reporter.
Okay, John.
Panorama.
Okay, John.
So what this other guy says, he's not steering.
Okay, I'm not aware of any threats or blackmail that's been made to any of my ex-employees to give negative information about me to you. Are you alright?
No.
What can you see this one?
We were basically threatened with the most horrendous shit you can possibly imagine for 3 months, constantly, to do this. Constantly. Because basically...
Wow. I did see earlier, he speaks about, because I didn't play this right from the start. I'd watched the first 17 minutes, 20 seconds, and then I started doing a reaction to this from, I don't know where it was, but it was before this, after this, sorry. He did talk about some of his former employees that basically been threatened. By who? I don't know. Maybe it's by the BBC henchmen. Who knows? Maybe it's the Hope Not Hate henchmen going about their business threatening people. And it's interesting that he's got this recording. But again, like, it's a recording of a conversation that's been had with presumably these two people here. Their word against somebody else's word, I guess. Anyway.
The horrendous shit you can possibly imagine for 3 months, constantly, to do this. Constantly. Because basically, why they have dirt on us is when we left Rebel. I don't know if I told you this. When we left Rebel, we were really fucking angry, and none of the media would take all the stuff we had on them. So Nick Close reached out to me on Twitter, and he was like, "Oh, meet up with us." And we were like, "Okay," like we weren't working with anyone then, so we were like, "Yeah, fuck it." And we met up with him twice, and we were like, we can write a book on Rebel Media, we can write a book on how they scam people, and this, and we were like really conniving with them. One of the first things they started threatening us with, this only started 3 months ago. We had no contact with them between 3 months ago and leaving Rebel, nothing. They started messaging us saying, "We need to meet you. This is really serious." And then when we met them, they said to George, I wasn't there, "We're going to release all of the meetings that you've had with us, threatening Rebel Media and talking shit about right-wing personalities and bitching about nothing serious, just saying all their pants. And they're going to make you, and we're going to basically expose you." And also, we've got 6 signatures from the top trade unionist organizations in the country saying that they're going to come after you, and the government have opened a new department which we're advising on counter-terrorism, which are going to prosecute you for writing scripts which have incited the Darren Osborne terrorist attack. And it was like, they were basically like, "You're going to fucking go to jail and you're going to get exposed for meeting with us if you don't work with us." This is what it all comes down to, this Panorama fucking thing. And Hope Not Hate were there, standing next to the BBC producers.
When you went for the meeting with Panorama, who from Hope Not Hate was it?
Nick, Joe, John Sweeney, and the producer. So like...
Nick, Joe, John Sweeney. So this guy is sitting here probably recalling everything that this person is talking about, going, "Oh, yeah, all of this sounds familiar." He's playing it cool, though, in terms of not trying to get it cut off, because he probably realizes that will make him look and sound even more like he's been involved. So playing it cool, sitting there listening, be interesting to see what he has to say.
When you went for the meeting with Panorama, who from Hope Not Hate was it?
Nick, Joe, John Sweeney, and the producer. So like, Hope Not Hate were like fucking terrifying, and they like didn't, they blackmailed us. They like Joe fucking used the whole thing to try and get into Caelan's pants. This is how bad it really was. When we pulled up in London, this was the day I dropped off the suitcase to you, right? That I went straight off from there, kind of where it was, to go and do this interview with them. They hired out this big car park warehouse thing. They had a little chair in the middle of it. I walked into this room, sat down. It was a cameraman, it was the head producer, it was Nick, and it was Joe. And then I started getting really nervous because she was saying, "How much money? Name numbers, name figures." And I was like, "Well, it was enough to pay for us to make videos, and all the money was spent on getting." And I was just saying vague shit. And then Joe said, "Can we stop the interview, please?" And then I was like, "Okay." And then Nick went, "Can you come with us, Caelan?" And then Nick and Joe took me to the other side of the warehouse and said, "Caelan, you really need to give them more information than this. You really need to open up a little bit more, because this is really not useful to them. They're probably not even going to use this. You need to go into specifics. You need to go into numbers. You need to at least show them something."
Were they threatening you?
Have a cigarette and we'll come back to it.
Were they threatening you then?
Okay. I had a cigarette and I went back and I sat down and I still couldn't really do it. And it was...
I think I just saw somebody in the background. I don't know if he's part of this Sweeney's team, just running his hands through his bald head. Where is it? That guy there in the background. If I hit play.
Were they threatening you then?
Okay. I had a cigarette and I went back and I sat down and I still couldn't really do it. And it was really bad. Like, I was like shaking the whole time. And that's when we told Panorama that we didn't feel that it was safe, that it was not okay, and that we were basically threatened.
Bit of a strange one here. Yeah?
It's been a minute.
I know, sorry, man. I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning here, but I've just got off the phone to Caelan for an hour, yeah? How much have they told you about Hope Not Hate?
Not much. Why?
You're aware they've been meeting with them regularly?
I've met Joe too before. Yeah, I know that Caelan and George have met with them before.
Continually met with them? When you was doing your Borderless documentary, Hope Not Hate flew out to Italy to meet them?
I don't know what they were talking about, but for the most part, like, I think they're just afraid of them. From what I've been told, it's like they're like, "Oh, they're kind of blackmailing us, like, hang out with us, or else we're going to get you guys arrested or whatever." So they just met with them.
So hold on a second. I work for Panorama.
Why Hope Not Hate present in that interview? Why Hope Not Hate present in the interview?
I work for Panorama, and we are doing a film about...
you aware of that? Are you aware?
He should be a politician, that fella, Sweeney. Mind you, media are probably just as good, if not better, than the politicians at trying to avoid questions. I mean, matter of opinion. Who are you working with? Was Hope Not Hate not there? I work for Panorama. I work for Panorama. Doesn't answer the question, at least a couple of times.
Were Hope Not Hate present in that interview? Were Hope Not Hate present in an interview with Hayden Robertson?
I work for Panorama, and we are doing a film about you.
Are you aware of that?
And
Are you aware of
Look at me. I'm a reporter, and I'm asking you a question. Okay. Right. I get the point.
Are you aware?
I don't
Let me ask you one question.
Okay.
Are you aware of the recent images sent by someone from Hope Not Hate to Hayden Robertson?
I'm aware of the allegation. I'm aware of the allegation.
So didn't he just answer no before that? Like he didn't know, not to this specific question, but made it sound like he's not aware of Hope Not Hate's involvement, that he's not been led by Hope Not Hate. This is his show, his documentary, Panorama. Hope Not Hate's got nothing to do with it. Now he's aware of them being present at these meetings, these conversations, and or allegations, he's saying. Crazy, like just loses credibility straight away as I listen to him talk even more.
And I do not think it's credible or serious. If I'm wrong, you can put that information out there.
If somebody has been blackmailed, threatened, intimidated by an organisation that is steering your documentary,
It's not serious.
okay, can we hear the next one? Play the next bit.
Made really inappropriate. I don't know how to describe it. Almost like basically like a sexual assault situation towards me when I was really drunk, pretty much passed out.
Fucking hell, this gets messier and messier.
No, hold on, yeah, okay, and I like got.
I wonder what was bleated out, a person's name or just a swear word?
Really upset, and I broke down and I told George about it last week because it's really fucked me up. And George messaged Nick, and apparently nearly got suspended, and like it's fucking like it's a really big mess.
It can't have been just a swear word because they let some swear words through, so maybe it's the person's name.
I'll come to Milan to see you. Who did he come with?
Nick.
He come with Nick, so Nick was with him.
Yeah.
And what did he do?
Nick wasn't there at that moment. Nick had gone home. So we were filming with Lauren, and then they said like you've got to meet us. So we flew to Spain via Milan, met them in Milan, literally just had a coffee with them, where they basically just carried on threatening us and said you've got to do like Sky and all.
Who are these people? Are they part of the Panorama documentary crew? I wonder what's going through their head. Or are they part of Tommy's crew?
One mainstream media thing. And then I went back to London to drop something off and to go then to Spain. So Caelan was left in Milan for one night. Nick left that night as well, I think. And then this is when this thing happened. Caelan said that he was basically really wasted. That he thinks let himself into Caelan's room. And basically, yeah, Caelan kind of woke up and was like half naked, like trying to do stuff with him. And then Caelan said no, and was like, "Oh no, you don't have to tell anyone." Blah 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 blah.
Oh, far out, man. I mean, if you're going to attend, and this is in no way saying he deserves it. I don't know what happened there. It doesn't, like the images that sort of run through your head when he's describing he's now blinking wasted, half naked, say no. You picture things whereby men drug women's drinks, right? And then they go and take advantage of them. That's the sort of scene that I'm picturing with this. I guess, is it Caelan or George? One of them, a male, and this stuff is happening. And I just think to myself, like, don't go and get involved in in these sort of activities. You've already been threatened with a whole bunch of other stuff, if I heard correctly, in the other recording that he's playing, about all the stuff that will happen if you don't play ball or give us information. And then you're going to go and attend a place and where there's lots of alcohol, probably drugs. Maybe somebody's going to slip some stuff into your drink, which is then going to cause you to be incapacitated or whatever. And then who knows? Then they get more information or more evidence compromising footage or photos or whatever of you just having made a poor decision to go in the first place. It doesn't exonerate the evil persons or parties from doing whatever it is that they're doing. Don't get me wrong. Like, those people need to be shot. But just, if you're worried about yourself, your safety, your protection, it doesn't make sense to me that you go to a place and then impair yourself in a way by consuming alcohol with a group of people that sounds like you don't want to be there with in the first place, that you don't trust, that you don't like. I don't know. Anyway, unless I've misinterpreted what I've been listening to, but it doesn't sound like these two guys have had a very good run in terms of former employees of Tommy's. Now they've been bombarded, and to their comments, over several months been threatened, harassed, need to do this, need to do that, and now they're going off for drinks with bloody some twat somewhere else.
Caelan's like really fucked up about it. So this was like 3 months ago, or 2 months ago, and Caelan only told me about it last week. So I messaged Nick saying, like, we need to talk, what the fuck is going on? And then Nick said that he's like doing an investigation into it. George also messaged Panorama saying, guys, Hope Not Hate raped Caelan.
Hi, Joe.
Hope Not Hate raped Caelan. Sorry, that's how you say his name, Caelan. That's mad.
Tommy Robinson.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, not bad. Obviously, you're aware I have a documentary coming out on Saturday. I'd just like to ask you a couple of questions quickly about your involvement.
Bear with me. I'm not going to have to do it over the phone, I'm afraid. I'm not going to I'd have to speak to a colleague before I can do anything, I'm afraid.
So you can't just answer why you were you present during an interview with Caelan Robertson and Panorama?
I'm not going to talk about anything on the phone.
Why not? Why not?
You can't just ring someone up. If you want to speak to me, you can drop me an email and we can...
This is just your opportunity to...
You can drop me an email. If you want to speak to someone, you can drop me an email. Right. How times have changed. I thought it's easier to just pick up the phone and give somebody a call.
Counter what's being said.
I'm not going to answer any questions over the phone, although I don't see what's the issue there is, even if I was.
So were you and Nick Knowles present during an interview?
It says, I don't know what the issue there, even if I was. Well, if there's no issue, why can't you just answer the question over the phone?
With Caelan Robertson and Panorama.
I've said everything I'm going to say to you, Tommy. I'm not going to answer any questions like that. If you want
just a yes or no. It's a simple yes or no.
Simply, look, Tommy, we're wasting time.
Okay.
We must ensure we avoid bias or an imbalance of views. Our output will be based on fairness, openness, and straight dealing. Contributors will be treated honestly and with respect.
Wow, crazy. BBC Guidelines, Section 1, Editorial Values. Crack up. Hard case, man. Sorry, I think what was on here? Oh, no, that's around crowdfunding stuff. It's good to hear. As soon as I hear wealthy investor, I get cynical. I get why you would have one or some, but not all have good intentions. Yeah, that's true. In terms of investors, they'll have agendas, no doubt. What's this? It comes from a genuine past of the kind of things he speaks out about. His cousin was groomed at a young age in Luton. I've heard him. I think that's what he was talking about on the Carl Stefanovic show. So that's enough to create my villain arch. Hugh Kerr spoke with a childhood friend with Tommy and said he can see why he had his views because of the upbringing he had. Oh, yeah, this is the lads having a conversation, Daz and Sol. If you want to see a person dodging, answering questions, look at Michael Howard's interview with Jeremy Paxman. Paxman. I'm surprised the dude's still damn alive, to be honest. That's what Carl Stefanovic said about Tommy. If you're talking about Tommy, Daz, that's what Carl Stefanovic, I think those were the first words out of his mouth to Tommy. I'm surprised you're still alive. Crazy. An old interview with, I think, a Tory politician basically saying was this person threatened and the politician keeps avoiding giving a direct answer. No surprise. It's quite famous. Over 1 million views. Jeremy Paxman interviews Michael Howard. Oh, might be worth a laugh. The Prince Andrew one sits fresh on my mind. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, there's some funny photos too of that guy sitting in the car, eh? Mel Downs put an Insta post saying Andrew was a dick. Oh, well. Hey, like that carries some weight as far as I'm concerned if Mel Downs is calling somebody a dick. Ex-Met police officer Med Andrew was hated by armed police officers who dealt with him. Yeah, that's not surprising. The interview of the guy that done security, UPD mean, he's called out some high-level people. Crack up. Interesting reading your fellas, your chat there, Solly and Daz. Let's get back to this.
Intimidating background is getting negative reviews against you. The men who are doing it are present during your interview to say you're independent. Now, John, when it comes to fake news, you're John Sweeney, so I'm going to separate you from these allegations that are being made.
There are allegations.
Okay, so these are allegations.
And there is no evidence apart from all words, their words, as to the substance of the allegations.
No.
And we have been on tape.
Okay, John, would you tell anyone what they have to say in the interview about?
No.
No? Play the next one.
We only, in the BBC, we only do questionnaires. So here's, it's a volunteer army. I want you to be comfortable about it. So is there anything you don't want me to ask about? This is, I'm not supposed to answer this. I'm not supposed to answer this. I'm not supposed to answer this. So I'm going to ask you about, I'm going to take it through. What I want from you is the following. Simple two things. One.
I still don't know what all the other, like the other stuff, which maybe it's going to show here, but that doesn't sound or look good for old John Sweeney. It'd be interesting to see what he says. People like us, the BBC, the establishment.
People like us, the BBC, the establishment, have not listened to what Tommy's been saying.
Well, clearly you have, because you want to do all these stories and then speak with people about Tommy to get information out. So you must be listening to what Tommy is saying and or has been saying if you're reaching out to people to get information about him. Doesn't make sense, eh? If you're not interested in him, don't care what he has to say, not worried about what he's putting out, why bother doing a story on him?
And that's bad.
Yes.
And so the extent to which the entire conversation about Islamism, extremism, about what that means for ordinary Brits up and down the country, closing that down, shutting it off as racist for stop is wrong. And that's bad. And that goes in the cap. And you say that, and that's what I do in the show. The second thing is, but there's something, my own personal experience.
Now, I don't know what this fella's waffling on about. Probably because, I don't know, maybe because of the amount of alcohol that's been consumed. But is he saying that stuff won't be aired and that it's just Tommy's flat out racist or what? Like, it doesn't make sense. Again, don't have all the context of the whole footage to hear what the catalyst or the starting point of this conversation is. It's bits and pieces which have been chopped up, edited, and then bundled together. It doesn't particularly make this John Sweeney look very good in some areas, but again, media will chop up and edit things, as do mainstream media.
It'd be difficult because I was a good trooper, and then suddenly I was thrown to the dogs. But as a human being, he's funny and charismatic, and can be great company, and he's not your he's not a Nazi. Number three, partly because of the pressure, partly because of the chaos, you fall out. It's horrible because it turns on the bomb. Those three elements are good, and those three elements will appear in the show. I promise you.
He has
Keel. We have a proper team going.
Okay. There's a lot of people
and the good stuff, your stuff goes in.
So there you are.
So I don't have to on the record. I don't have a problem with that because I'm saying I'm putting after a long conversation, which you haven't.
I've got you 6 times telling that individual what they must say. And let's go to the next one.
Gilligan wanted to make it sexualized, and he wanted it to make it out like you basically like Harry Weinstein me.
Oh my god, man.
So this is the phone conversation. Would have been good if that part was on the video recording of the guy as well, because again, this guy John Sweeney will come back with the same sort of argument, I would imagine. It's her word with or maybe he might be a little bit hesitant after he's been filmed with the other stuff that he's talking about after a few drinks. So maybe he might be a bit hesitant, but if she's got that recorded from him as well, like that's just show that as well, rather than listening to right now her phone conversation to Tommy telling him about what this guy John Sweeney was saying.
Because you're like a position of power,
And you're
you know,
available.
and like all this shit. And I was like, yeah,
So when I'm being told, this isn't about you, John. When I'm being told that journalists are approaching people.
Oh, sorry, I don't understand the context.
I'll tell you what I'll tell you what I'll tell you. This specifically is not about you.
Oh, did you?
When I felt sick, okay, because I found
Okay, so that's not about John Sweeney. It's a the documentary is a bit all over the shop. From what I'm seeing and hearing here, probably just because my small brain's unable to keep up with all the with all the cuts and the edits and the takes. So I thought that phone conversation that he was having with Lucy Brown at Mobile, the footage that we just saw, was her talking about this guy John Sweeney and trying to make it a sexual what's a sexual allegation thing against Tommy towards her. I thought that was about John Sweeney telling her that that's what she needed to do. Well, Tommy's just saying that's not about him. Bloody hell. This bloody thing's cut into more places than I can poke a stick at right now.
the journalists were offering money to try and get a young girl to do a Harvey Weinstein story against me. Now, you're Panorama, you're John Sweeney. So let me play the next clip to you.
I call him like a silly little man and stuff. I'm just shouting at him. Yeah, but
We love that.
it was quite bad.
Could we have that? I'll drop you in it.
I'll have to think. It will drop me in it. Everything will drop me in it.
Not necessarily.
It was really bad. We had this great big argument in Woburn High Street. Yeah, maybe. I suppose that I did give to the lawyers, and they said, well, actually, this for the case doesn't really work because you're just having a dispute, doesn't really whatever. But I thought I'd record it just in case. Maybe I'll do that.
That's
It's only audio. It's only audio.
that's fine. How angry did it get?
He gets really angry and then he runs away and gets in the car and drives off. And I shout after the car. It's really bad.
We can clip that bit. We can clip that bit. We can clip that bit. My view about that is that
Well, I think it's no secret that that's what media do. Bloody hell. I'm a bloody amateur in my little place here when I'm doing little video editing and I clip bits out. There's a footage there that I did of Andrew Hastie about the free speech. And I found it really funny, the bits that I saw. So I clipped out parts of what he was talking about. He goes, Labour came with a terrible free speech thing. And then he goes on to say, and I think it's in Australia's best interest. That's why I voted for it. Now, he did say all those words. But the part that I clipped out was the part where he says, we gutted it like a fish. And it did this and it identified that and this, that, and the other. And then after that, then we found it was in the best interest of the Australian people or whatever. And that's why I voted for it. The fact and the point that I was getting across was just the backflipping and him saying that he wouldn't bend the knee, that he'd rather go out in a box. I was like, yeah, I'm going to clip that. Plus you're a twat anyway, so I'm just going to think. So, if little old Joe Hortai here in New Zealand can get his beer, can have a bee in his bonnet about some twat over in Australia, ex-regiment guy who's now gone into politics and sounds like he's just as useless there, then surely mainstream media are going to clip and edit whatever the hell they want. So that's just my take anyway. Let's carry on with where this conversation goes.
I think doing a kind of gender, a kind of sexual thing against Tom Robinson. The person I was talking to there was worried about whether she would be identified. Now, clearly, that tape is now in your hands, so we can see if she's working.
So you said it was clip footage. So maybe you said I do have any idea what implications. You tried to turn a normal argument into a sexual matter.
No. That part sounds like what he's talking about. But again, we haven't got the whole video clip, so it might just be parts of it that have been clipped, edited for the purposes of this documentary. Who knows? Let's
Hang
see.
on a minute. Do you understand the implications? I've got 3 young children. What do you think before you destroy a man's life? Because this is what you were planning on doing.
No,
I've got the
you
evidence.
misunderstand me.
I misunderstand.
So what I was trying to do was to say to that source that if necessary we would change her gender to turn her, for example, into a man. I've done it on regular occasions where I have covered difficult.
So you're not realising I've got all of this text. You're hanging yourself. You're hanging yourself.
It doesn't sound like that. That's what he was trying to say. That he'll change your gender to a male or whatever. Wow, he's trying to think quick on his feet, it seems. And Tom is saying you're hanging yourself. If he's got the whole footage, it would have been great to just hear the whole context. Like, it sounds like some slurred speech and some erming and arming and blinking, a whole bunch of other rubbish waffle, which probably isn't necessary. But if it gives context to what it is that's been said from Tommy's side and from this guy's side, maybe it's worth sharing. I don't know.
I'm misrepresenting him. And in fact, he was telling her he could change her gender so she could not be identified. Let's just hear that clip again.
I've been doing a kind of gender, a kind of sexual thing, and it's Tommy Robinson.
We can do a kind of gender, a sexual thing against Tommy Robinson.
Yeah.
Nice try, John.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like he's trying to change her gender for the more sensitive stories that he was on about.
We should not present invented material as facts or knowingly do anything to mislead our audiences.
Oh, BBC Guidelines, Section 3, accuracy. We should not present invented materials as facts or knowingly do anything to mislead our audiences. I think I wouldn't be surprised if all media organizations have these guidelines or rules or whatever it is that they want to call them. ABC probably have them, Channel 9, every media likely has these sorts of rules, right? Or you'd like to think so. But I honestly think those are just there purely as part of the box ticking exercise to show the public and or governing bodies or government or whatever that, yeah, we've got strong processes in place that we follow to ensure the safety and well-being and the credibility and integrity of our reporting, etc. Blah blah blah. When really, we'll go out, spend the taxpayers' money, get blind drunk, spend it on all the stuff that I wouldn't normally spend my own money on, and then look to make stuff up and or coerce and or bribe people to give us a story about someone or something.
I've done 10 years worth of demonstrations. I've had cameras on me absolutely everywhere. And what they've been trying to expose and find is possibly that I'm a racist or I'm a homophobe or something like that. I had you undercover for one boozy lunch, and you were repeatedly racist.
Need to do a cat too.
I pre-booked because the dog makes it more difficult.
All right.
You know why, don't you?
Wine.
Because
why?
Yeah, there's loads of Asian cab drivers don't like taking dogs.
How dare you? How dare you? Where's my phone? Say that on camera, right?
No.
Racist.
True.
It's true. So this is the first. So there you are, genuine.
What was that all about? Asian cab drivers don't like taking dogs. I'm confused. I don't get what that's about. Was Tommy saying that this guy's calling Tommy a racist, or that John Sweeney's a racist? Like, it's just pointing fingers here, there, and everywhere. It seems like, bloody hell, hard to keep up with. Maybe because I've still got it on 1.25 speed, playback speed. Probably confused myself. Anyway, let's. I'll leave that there. Let me go back and just. What is that piece even about? To do a cab.
Undercover for one boozy lunch, and you were repeatedly racist.
Need to do a cat too.
You were repeatedly racist. So Tom is calling him a racist. Okay, so that must be what it's on about. So I don't need to hear all of that again. Asian cab drivers don't like taking dogs.
Dare you? Where's my phone? Say that on camera, right?
No.
Racist.
True.
It's true. So this is the first. So there you are, genuine.
Asian cab drivers don't like taking dogs in their taxis. I don't know. I mean, I don't like or know John Sweeney. I don't see how that's a racist comment. She did call him a racist, and he said it's true. So maybe maybe he's a racist from that perspective. I don't know. It just seems weird, like stupid. What a stupid thing to be calling somebody a racist over. Just trying to think of an example. Asian drivers don't like taking dogs in there. Is that what it said? Asian cab drivers don't like taking dogs. So is he talking about an actual dog, or is he talking about a person? I took it as I was talking about a dog, like he wants to taking a taxi. Asian cab drivers getting in a cab don't like taking dogs. I've got a dog, need to take a cab. Asian driver potentially doesn't want to take me because I've got a dog. So fair enough. Like, I don't think that's a racist comment. If whether you're Indian, whether you're bloody white, whatever, American, Islander, and you don't want to take somebody because they've got a dog, different story if it's one of those seeing eye dogs, and that sort of thing. But if you can see the person is physically capable, there seems to be no other reason for them to be having the dog other than obviously they own it, companionship, etc., etc. But you don't want a dog in your vehicle, because most cab owners or cab drivers typically own their vehicle and they want to look after it. I mean, they've got other clients that are coming in and out of their vehicle, etc., etc. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Anyway.
How dare you?
And I regret those words said, but the context is simple. That I had a real-world experience like that. There's a court case in today's papers where an Asian taxi driver has lost his license. He was refused to carry a line dog.
You're blaming an entire continent.
Well, let's face it, it's not that these dogs are unclean, so it's Muslim taxi drivers don't like dogs. But you have stereotypes on 500. Then that was enough for you.
Oh, far out. Man. Yeah, maybe I'm misinterpreting it because I don't have the full context. Like where my mind went in terms of the cab driver not wanting dogs in their vehicle, I literally took it as a customer potentially who needs to get from point A to point B and they've got a dog with them, and the cab driver doesn't want the dog in the vehicle because of what I just spoke about earlier. I don't think that's racist, but this guy is apologizing for his comments, so maybe he was being racist. So like I don't get it. I still don't see what the problem is about a cab driver refusing to take somebody who's got a dog, and they don't want that dog in their vehicle. Again, like I said, unless they're talking about a person as being the dog.
You want to then have a go at Greeks?
And it always goes down well. Is would you sound you in Turkish? You want to piss off a Greek yourself, speaking Turkish. And they know, and they don't, anyway, never mind. I like it, it's quite fun. Tommy, that's pathetic, that's a joke.
You find it funny joke about the invasion of a country where women were pinched and raped and murdered.
Okay,
you find that funny? No,
so I have met Turkish with friends.
You're upsetting type of communities. You find it funny. You find it funny to speak in Turkish. You find that funny.
I find it funny. I find it funny. That's why I'm laughing, sitting here listening to this conversation back and forth. I don't empathize. I don't sympathize. Sorry, I should say, with this guy John Sweeney. Like he looks just like a dodgy bloody rodent, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm laughing at the fact that he probably does have many Turkish and whatever other friends that he talks about, and he's learnt some of the language, and he probably, I don't know, maybe it's his way to try to wind somebody up or get back at somebody if he feels like, they've done something to upset him. Like, I think we all do that, right? If you can stick the needle into somebody who has rubbed you up the wrong way, you're going to try to find a way to do it. Like, nobody can tell me that they won't or that they don't. Like, our bloody leaders of our supposed countries do it. The politicians do it. They're always needling each other. Bloody family members do it to each other. Friends do it to each other. Soldiers, like, everybody. So I don't know whether you like somebody or not. Even then, people will find ways to try to stick the needle in or put the boot in, so to speak, in terms of trying to make somebody upset or trigger somebody. Hopefully not to the point whereby anything serious, majorly serious happens, other than just seeing somebody get upset or, you know, yell a few swear words or whatever. But this interview, this piece here just seems, I don't know. It's not what I was expecting anyway. When I heard Tommy talk about this on the Carl Stefanovic show, and granted he was trying to rush and speaking through a lot of things in a very short amount of time. I think I expected more. I expected more from this documentary than what I've seen so far. And how much time we got left? So there's still time. Like there's still another 15, 18 minutes left. So we'll see. We'll let this carry on.
None of this is fun. None of this is fun. None of this is fun. Play next one. Okay, play next one.
I have a little more. I have more in common with Tommy than most reporters.
Yeah.
None of this is funny. Are you sure? Crack up. Well, that's funny.
I scumbag Irish background.
Scumbag Irish background. So my family goes scumbag Irish background because they're fallen from Ireland. I'm talking about myself. Now you said you have more in common with it. You have more in common with me. Okay. A scumbag Irish background. It's a joke. That's a joke. So wait a second. It's a joke. So I'm very, very proud of my Irish heritage. What my and scumbag to you, John? No, I'm very proud of my Irish heritage. Yeah. If you get somebody like me talking to a source, and actually that source is in fact a mole working for Tommy Robinson, then in the context of a 2-3 hour conversation, there will be moments where jokes happen. Okay. I'm very proud of
But you've been beaten up by Antifa, or of Antifa percent Tommy, and you've been there.
Those people are brainwashed.
And they're lefty people. They're lefty.
Self-hating whites.
I'd like to call them honky.
No, you use not racist. You call them honkies. Hold on a second. You call them honkies. This is a conversation with your source. In what I'm trying to do is
yeah. Honky is used as a derogatory term, right? Just like nigger is used as a derogatory term. Just like jungle bunny, jigaboo, blanket, black fella. Like all of these terms. Some people think the term Pākehā is used as a derogatory term in New Zealand. Some people might use it as a derogatory term. I don't. Pākehā, in terms of my understanding of it, from people that are fluent in Te Reo Māori or Matatai Te Reo Māori, because I'm not, it just refers to a non-Māori person. But some people will take it as a derogatory term, like honky, like pālangi, like I said, jungle bunny, jigaboo, blinking nigger, all that sort of stuff. And understandably, like some people will use those terms depending on the context or the conversation, or dare I say the argument that might be happening at that time, with the intent to incite a reaction from the person, especially if they don't like them, or if they don't like what it is that they're saying, or if they don't like what it is that the person's saying and how it's making them feel. And so as a means to try to get back at that person, they're probably going to say something to try to incite a reaction, a negative reaction, so that they can, carry on this engagement, even though it's probably, if it's got into that stage, it's probably pretty toxic by that stage. But it can be hard, like for anybody, to just walk away from something like that and just let it slide, or maybe not so much let it slide, but let it go. Like that, turn the other cheek and all that sort of stuff is very hard to do. Easier said than done, right? Especially depending on what has been discussed and everything that a person is then feeling. So all well and good to say turn the other cheek. They're only words, but as we know, words impact and hurt people, as do physical actions. But words can be very hurtful as well, and those words can cause people to retaliate in a non-verbal way, in a very physical way. So, the things that we say, the things that we do carry weight. They impact other people in more ways than we realize. Sometimes, and I'm guilty of it, oftentimes we don't realize the impact that those things can have in those moments. And sometimes it's not until later on when we calm down, when we reflect, hence why they say, take some time out, go away, think about it, etc., etc. And usually when we do that, we can look at things through a different lens. And sometimes we may even be able to look at it through the lens of the other person that we were just blinking pulling the piss out of, you know. Sometimes, no, I've been there too. It's still like, nah, I'm still right. I'm still right in my thinking, and that person is wrong. They're a bloody idiot or whatever, which is normal as well. But man, just hearing this conversation, yeah, like I said, I did expect more from this documentary. I thought it was going to call out and make it much clearer in terms of, well, clearly there's corruption and stuff here, but I think I just expected a lot more like black and white. When we interview you, as an example, so say he's talking to this Lucy Brown lady, the one who somebody said here she's a lunatic or a psycho. When we interview you, you are going to tell us this, that Tommy did this, that Tommy said this, that Tommy has got all of these things, and we're going to record that and put that in. Like I expected like that sort of dialogue or information. Some might say, well, that's just stupid because, you know, he could be at risk of being majorly compromising himself. Well, you know, the dude clearly wasn't thinking that much about compromising himself significantly with the amount of alcohol involved, what he was talking about, even though we don't hear all the context. So maybe he's much more conscious now. And other journalists are probably much more conscious now in terms of who they speak to, what they speak about, etc. Mad.
You're trying to label me, and what's happened is in one afternoon, in 1 month, Scott, you've been, okay, let me talk about homophobia. Look, you seem obsessed. So you have an obsession, because then you ask if Joe Moorhouse gay, right?
Because they've not gone out and just had a mate that's gay. That's the difference. So you've got people up in like all these different places in the UK or whatever, and they're sort of, they've not just had a gay mate.
Have they never met a conservative then?
No. I remember one line in particular. She said, well, "What do you think about LGBT or something?" And I said, "Well, some of the stuff that gay people say is just ridiculous." And that's me being.
That's by the way, there's nothing wrong with them. So something worse.
Probably. That's the way that I would speak to Kaylin. You know, yes. That's the way that I would speak to Kaylin in a bar. You know, like.
They're ridiculous. They should be shot.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, obviously.
No, I know. Did you say it?
No.
Good.
That's the thing, because unbeknownst
I would say that, by the way. I would.
Should be shot. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, Joe's dick pics.
Is he gay? Oh my gay dance rubbish. He's a Bertie Muffin. He's a Bertie Muffin. He's a Bertie Muffin.
May the best man win.
Yeah. That's a bit weird.
Gin doble.
I'm not a joke.
Like, oh man, this is mad to me. Like, how many people out there have not used the term poofter, woofter, homo, fag, when they've spoken to and or about people at different times when they've gotten upset, or if they've had a different opinion around stuff, you know, LGBTQ, was it legs, glutes, biceps, triceps? It's one of the t-shirts I've seen somebody walk around in a gym with on Instagram. Like, I think it's very easy for people to blow things out of proportion when I think more often than not, well, at least from a military perspective and other areas in mining as well, construction, where conversations happen and people call each other names like that just for fun, but also to try to wind somebody up. Like, I've been called a poof. I've called other people a poof. Doesn't mean I'm a homophobe. Like, at the same time, I've got friends who are gay, males and females, who are attracted to the same sex. Doesn't mean I don't like them. Yeah, so I find it funny from the, like, my friends might not find it funny, like in terms of being there in that context. And I don't think I've done that when I've been in and around. Hey, maybe they decide to not be my friends now that they see me do this reaction or whatever. I think they know me and have known me long enough, well enough, that these sorts of things, like comments like that, will happen. You see somebody doing a small weight at a gym or lifting something, oh, that guy's weak as piss, bloody fag, or whatever. Comments like that happen just flippantly in everyday speech for people. Well, a lot of people, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people, day in, day out. doesn't mean that they have got anything against people that are into the same sex or whatever. Well, I don't anyway. I don't see it that way. I do like to try to be more mindful of if there's somebody that I know that is in a same-sex relationship, I already know I'm not typically going to be talking that way, and there's usually there would have to be something happening in that environment for me to start talking like that with my friends anyway, and it would usually be to and with people that I know, and would usually be having a joke and a laugh about it. Just like anybody, when you're in the room with people that maybe have a different religious belief to you, you're likely going to be mindful about what you say and the way that you say it. You're not going to just be, oh, they're a Buddhist, or they're a Muslim, or they're a Catholic, or they're a Christian, or whatever, and you're an atheist, or maybe you're a different religion denomination altogether. People are typically going to, if they know that about their friends, they're typically going to be more mindful of and not delve into saying things that may potentially look like you're putting them down or their belief down. Hopefully that makes sense. I think it's just at the same time, like equally so, people are going to have a laugh and say things which other people might just not find funny at all. And some of the stuff that I've spoken about in here, people may not find funny and go, mate, that's just stupid. I've never heard that. Again, there may be people out there that have never engaged in conversations with their friends or other people and said the sort of things that I've just mentioned. But I know a lot of people that have and that do. And I don't view them as being racist or against people that are into the same sex or anything like that. Like, as far as I'm concerned, there are only two genders, male, female. If people want to be gay, they can be gay. If people want to bloody be, bisexual, well then, kaya queer, that's up to them. Like, if they want to be into both sexes, blink and fill their boots. That really doesn't, I don't see how or why it gets made such a big deal out of why we have to have certain pride events, rainbow colors, because we have to recognize these things, and we have to make it so that it's not embarrassing or that it's not shameful for them. Like the two leagueies that have come out, Roberts and bloody hell, I forget the other guy that's come out recently in the NRL as being gay. Bloody good on them. Like, good for them. The fact that they've probably been in the locker room, they've probably had conversations before they came out whereby friends of theirs probably made comments or called each other those types of names, and they, maybe it made them feel uncomfortable. I'm willing to bet that now that their friends know, like I shared before about religion or people's orientations, whatever, those same friends will probably be just more mindful before they say anything of that sort of nature in and around those people, their friends, their mates, just probably out of respect to them or for them, which I think that's okay. They probably still carry on with their normal banter when their friends aren't around, and I think that's okay as well. Like, it's just how people communicate these days: time, place, circumstance. Depending on those things, the time that you're in, the place, or the time, the place, and the circumstances, maybe we'll hopefully choose our words a bit better. Excuse me. But otherwise, people are going to say whatever it is that they want to say. Oh, sorry, hang on. There's bloody, what's this? Is that just Daz and Solly having their conversation, I think? Dun, dun, dun. Probably an element of truth there, man, because to say I haven't felt that would be lying, but the difference is self-control and weak mentality. Ben Griffin said the N-word in his Oxford Uni speech. Yeah, right. You said the N-word without censorship, Joe. Yeah. Well, I mean, if my video gets censored because of it, people say it. I've said it like as a joke. But yeah, people will take it however they want to take it. Sorry, I probably missed a bunch. No, but they got boxed out. Oh, I'll just go from there. Said the N-word without censorship. Might want to be cautious as YouTube might retaliate. Yeah, they might do too. Like my overwhelming followers and support on this channel might get shut down. Ben Griffin's there. I've seen that, and I think there's probably an element of truth. Because to say I haven't felt that would be lying, but the difference is self-control and weak mentality. What's this? Never considered Pākehā as derogatory. In the early 60s through the 70s, we were taught basic te reo Māori and history at school. Pleased to see it's still taught. Yeah, that's cool. Like, and I know a lot of people that don't see the term Pākehā as a derogatory term. I can't think of a time, I probably have, but I can't think of a time right now where I've used or called somebody a Pākehā and used or meant it as a derogatory term. It's like, oh yeah, those Pākehās over there, like those non-Māoris over there is what I mean by it when I'm using it. I don't. At the same time, I haven't gone, oh, those honkies over there. You know, I haven't said that, or I haven't gone, you know, those niggers over there. I don't recall saying anything like that. When I've used those terms or words, it's usually in direct conversation and banter and blink and ribbing of mates that I know well. So yeah. And at the same time, you know, they've called me those words back as well. Not honky, but you know, the other word, nigger. I've been called that. Black, C, finishes in T, all that sort of stuff. Where are we? I've had to hold Afghans back from taking knives and even rocks to prisoners because they grew up hearing about him. I'm not sure what that's Daz having a chat, probably with Solly. Nick Irvin on his podcast said in Afghanistan it was common for Afghans shagging other boys and men. Perhaps that's where Albo got his anal tearing pandemic information from. That bloody Albo standing up in Parliament talking away from social media to, oh, bloody hell, what was it? It went from, seemed like social media to just sort of like, I guess, the influences that can have to anal tearing. I was like, what the hell? I think somebody had the title of one of those videos, that escalated quick. I don't know why we've got a lying prime minister in Australia. I say we because I'm still an Australian citizen. I don't know why we have a lying prime minister in Australia, in Albanese, Albo, who is speaking about one, anal tearing, but two, if it's such a medical epidemic or pandemic happening in Australia at the moment with people presenting to emergency departments with anal tearing, why is that twat talking about it? Why are not the medical professionals, why aren't they the ones speaking about it? Instead, you got this clown who couldn't lie straight in bed, goes from talking about one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and then just skyrockets straight to anal tearing. Like, what the truck is going on there with that fella? Anyway, cheers, 3 nuts. What's this? Some might have let them or even ordered them to. That's totally wrong, and I don't condone it. They would do that to us, and God help it if I'm going to die having it lower depths than some towel head. Again, like comments like that, like people will go, oh, they're racist. Raghead, towelhead, bloody, like comments that we will use either in a text or verbal or whatever does not mean, in my opinion, doesn't mean that somebody's racist. Like, it's just, it's become a common way of communicating for people for a long period of time. And call me old fashioned, but there's a number of people whose way of communicating, no matter what you do, you're just not going to change them. It doesn't mean that they hate a certain demographic of people. It's just how they've always grown up communicating. Can people change? Yes, they can. Like, I like to think by and large, I'm an example of changing how you communicate and speak, because I used to think every second, third word was a swear word. Like, and people that know me from my time in the army would easily be able to attest to that, because that's just how we communicated. But I could always, like I said, being conscious of who you're around and who you're with, I could usually always switch it off if I was with my mum. So, or, you know, or other people from my family, because that's not how she spoke. That's not how they spoke. Yes, Mum would swear from time to time, but nothing like what I ended up doing when I was in the army. So yeah, people can change, people can learn, be better, all that sort of thing. Grow and develop is the term that probably gets used. But yeah, every now and then, like I'll let rip. And some comments that come out that people might not like the sound of. Yeah. Anyway, tell you I don't contain, but when I tell head, we're not superior to them, but we're better than them. Since when was Puff off the cards? My cousin's a Puff. Yeah, I don't think it's ever off the cards. Jesus help his soul. And again, to those that believe in Jesus or in God, you know, some like, oh, blasphemy or whatever it is. He's a non-believer. Yeah, so today's Joe, have people been openly gay in your SAS units? Great question. As far as I know, I didn't serve with anybody that I knew was gay in the unit. So yeah, I don't know what's this. There's I love him, but he's condemning himself to WR. What's this? Yeah, I don't take offense to it anymore. Used to be called a fairy. I only got fairy. That's another term that gets used. I only got mad because I was sexually abused by men as a child. Now that's a different ball game altogether, eh? Like nowadays, words only carry the weight you apply to it. In my honest opinion, or in my opinion, 100%, I agree. It's a choice. You can choose to be offended, all that sort of stuff. I cannot imagine, Blinken having that done, anybody having that done to them, being raped and abused by an adult that are supposed to protect and look after young ones. Again, they should be shot. I don't see why we want to keep them around. Like death penalty is a good thing, I think anyway. For cases, like that, like murder, like rape. My time with corrections has shown, and I'm confident that there's still statistics out there, that those that commit sexual offenses against other people, whether it's against other women, whether it's against children, or against men, whatever, those sexual offenders, their ability to change, like, is probably there, but the overwhelming stats that show otherwise, that they don't change, so much so that they constantly reoffend, so much so that the fear around them not changing, they need to have their own, typically they have their own places, because like the place that I was fortunate enough to be a part of and manage, one of the automatic no's was there's no sexual offenders of any kind. Like it's just an automatic no. So that and higher complex needs. Those two are automatic. If you fit into either of those two categories, you can't come here to the service. Go find somewhere else. And the correction system struggle to house people. And they call it a disease, people that struggle with that. Well, last time I checked, when we have diseases, we try to get rid of them. We try to eradicate them. So if people are classing pedophiles as a disease, well, then shouldn't we eradicate it? Shouldn't you just get a little lethal injection if you want to make it more humane and go, yep, kakeets, bros, see you later. At least we don't need to worry about funding that type of behavior or that potential for that to happen anytime down the road. Anyway, that's my thoughts. I could go off on a tangent on that one for quite a while. Coming back to what person said here, bloody stuff that supposed adults that are supposed to be looking after people, that's just rubbish. Not openly. I'm with Daz. If there were people in either NZ or Australia, if they were, I definitely didn't know about it. Definitely don't think the amount of guys that go single their whole life in this space points to there not being any. I was roasting my cousin and my fat fingers are compromising me. He's going hell in conclusion. The self-discipline you would need to have to keep that a secret as well, Joe. Yeah, I reckon. Far out. Massive amount to try to keep that a secret around all us studs. Yeah, imagine that. Yeah, so again, solely I don't know of anybody that was them, but in saying that, there very well could be. William Keith, exactly, Joe. We didn't need pride events. Pretty sure most families had 2 uncles or 2 aunties who lived together. 100%, Bruz. No one questioned it, just accepted it and didn't make a big deal of it. Crack up. Scott and Shells Roberts came out while he was still playing from memory. Oh, wow, did he? He came out while he was still playing. That's amazing, that. Like, what a weapon that dude was on the field, eh? Like his origin exploits, his manly exploits, Blinken, the collisions, the hits, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, feel sorry for, I forget the name of the recent guy that's come out, but credit to him for coming out. Pretty, because I watched his interview, so I should bloody remember his name, but I watched it a while ago when he was tearing up, talking about where he was. He just wanted to be able to get his parents a home and then top himself, were the words I think he used. Tragic, man. Sad to hear that, he was in that much of a dark space. And I could imagine some of the comments that would happen in a rugby league shed, which would be pretty similar to a military Blinken ablutions block, and or just in general banter, So yeah, can't even imagine what it must have been like for him. But it's great that he's out now and that he feels like the weight is lifted. Someone could edit you in a bad light now because of your phrasing, yeah, potentially. Maybe somebody will. Maybe somebody in there with the time that they have might want to take some time and grab clips of what I've just said in this video and then edit it all together. Hey, maybe Andrew Hasty will. It seems you're reading chats that aren't showing in this stream. YouTube might be hiding them from viewers, but showing you. Oh, okay. I don't know. I'm just in Riverside, so I'm not on YouTube, even though I think this is live streaming on YouTube, or it should be. But I'm reading the comments that come through on my Riverside thing. Agreed on the death penalty. Scott and Shells. OMG, I was looking for them. I thought Scandinavian countries have good rehabilitation. Yeah, I don't know. If you're talking about sexual offenders, I don't know. Yeah, I've not come across anything to suggest that sexual offenders are like, here's this person who sexually assaulted all these people. Now look at him. He is whatever. Like, I don't even think I would want to see that. I think people just look at that person, particularly the victims of that person, and I don't think anybody would blame them for wanting that person to no longer exist. That's just my honest take. I've said OMG twice in 5 minutes. Hard lethal inject. Yep. I reckon, like if they want to make it more humane, lethal injection. Kakeets, bruz. See you later. Thanks, Will. I switched filter in my chat to all messages. Oh, okay. I don't think I've put any filter on the chats on my just the same way I've got no filter on my comments on YouTube, but YouTube will do whatever it is that they want to do, I guess, and block things or switch things. What's this? What's this? FX8 I dips Malid to you. Takes a great deal of self-control to ignore the slurs. Oh, yeah, too. Yeah, I bet. 100%. Took a few years, but seeing the world as it is instead of wearing emotional shades. Man, that's awesome, Poeticus. There was that Aussie captain from the Commandos. I forget his name, but the Aussie media lied about him killing civvies. Aussie captain from the Commandos. You're not talking about Heston Russell, are you? Maybe Hesto? Oh, yeah, Heston Russell. Good book he wrote too. I haven't read his book. Yeah, bloody... Yeah, so sorry, yeah, to Solly's question about anybody that was gay in the SF. So yeah, he was in the Commandos. I don't know if he was openly gay while he was serving in the unit. I think maybe he announced that he was gay after. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. Maybe he did make it known whilst he was serving. But either way, people know that about him now. But yeah, I think Solly's question to me and Daz in this chat anyway was in regards to the SAS. So in that regard, I don't know. But hey, maybe somebody will come out after and say, surprise. Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Guy Pearce. You know, not that he's gay, but he's the guy in that movie that acted in that movie. Well, I don't think he's gay anyway. Anyway, let's see. He's a woofter. That's the last blinker. That's where it's paused on here.
Woofter, company by stand for woofter.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Pause.
Presenters.
Oh, bloody hell, I missed it. Poofta is based on the permanent stretching of the anus that results from repeated anal sex, which causes wind to be emitted with a puffed sound. It is an incredibly homophobic slur. So, apologies for laughing. I had no idea that's where this comes from. Is that in the dictionary or something, or somebody have they just edited this for the purposes of this documentary? I had no idea. That's crazy. It is an incredibly homophobic slur. Holy heck. When they say homophobic, are they homophobic? To me means somebody who is anti and against people that are attracted to the same sex. That's how I view it. Like what's the name? Arachnophobia, a fear of spiders. Homophobia, a fear of people that are gay. I don't know. Maybe there was back in the day. Maybe there were people that had a fear of if they shook hands or spoke to somebody that was gay, that they were going to become gay or whatever. Maybe that mentality exists. But yeah, as I look at the term homophobic, somebody that's afraid of or fearful of people that are attracted to the same sex. Why you'd be afraid of somebody attracted to the same sex, I don't know. But anyway, and how that gets used to people who use the word, I don't think is accurate. I don't think it's a true reflection of who the person is. You know what I mean? That's just my take anyway.
Presenters, reporters, and correspondents are the public face and voice of the BBC.
Presenters, reporters, and correspondents are the public face and voice of the BBC. Crazy, eh? You got these rodents like that twit. What's his name? Sweeney. Being interviewed by Tommy Robinson at the moment. Excuse me. And all these nice sounding guidelines that the BBC has.
That is when you ask your anger state. That's the most derogatory term you could use for a homosexual person.
My oldest friend at university is gay.
I think not to Sweeney's defense, but I can understand, like, to a degree where he's coming from. Like, I don't think I know anybody who doesn't have a gay friend or somebody that they know is gay that they are friends with, who they at least consider a friend. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. Like, each to their own. If you want to be gay, cool. You're gay. Like, I don't need you bringing that stuff around trying to preach to me about how wonderful it is or anything like that. You know what I mean? But as long as you're not going to try to do that, we can be mates, or we can talk, or we can hang out, or whatever. But I'm not interested in hearing about your particular views. We can just leave the sexuality part out of the conversations. We can talk about other stuff. We can do other stuff if you want to. If you can't help yourself, but you feel like you need to keep bringing that up, well then, yeah, then probably we don't need to be friends. Like, go find yourself a group of people where you can have those groups and meetings and discussions together. Like, I'm not interested in that.
Is it okay to use the terminology woofter? Is that okay?
It's not great.
Is it okay, John? No, it's not. It's one of the most derogatory terms.
It's not derogatory, but the idea
Is it okay? Well, I would have said yes. But again, depending on who you're with and who's around. Like I said, if there's somebody that you know who is gay, male or female, probably more so male after reading that definition that I just bloody read, which I had no idea until reading that, then you'd probably want to be more reserved and mindful and probably not want to use that term. Not unless you've got such a great relationship with that gay friend of yours that's how you guys communicate. And I know some people that have got really good relationships, friendships with their gay friends, and that is how they communicate to each other. He says, "Oh, shut up! You're just a bloody puff." And then his friend, who is gay, says, "You just wish you were." You know, like that's the level of friendship that they have and how they communicate. Cool. At the same time, you know, I know some people who I'm friends with who are gay that don't communicate that way. They wouldn't want to have a conversation like that, and that's okay. So, you know, I think depending on the situation, the person, the time, place, circumstance, all that sort of stuff, I think it's okay. You know, things like one of the people that's just commented on here, being abused, like that would be a situation where I wouldn't. Like if I knew and if I know that somebody has been abused, sexually abused by somebody else, by a male, I'm not going to go down that path or call that person or even somebody else if they're even in the vicinity, even though I might not be specifically talking to them. I'm not going to use that towards somebody else in that environment or in that context, if that makes sense. So I think it's heavily context dependent. If we were to far out, if you were to just try to be super black and white with it, is it appropriate to use that word? Again, it would depend on who you ask. But if we were looking at the PC, like, you know, don't offend anybody, don't use derogatory language or anything at all, then people would probably say no. But I don't think there's anything wrong with using any of those words. Like, we've got them. They're in our vocabulary. People are going to continue to use them. They've been using them for however long they've been used. They're going to continue to be getting used. I think the time, place, circumstance, the context, the people that you're with or the person that you're with, how and where and when it's been used, depending on the reaction that you're trying to get from the person, I don't see any problem with it. Like, they're words that get used, they're going to continue to get used. Would it feel nice to be on the receiving end if it's been used in a derogatory manner or used in a manner to try to attack somebody? Of course not. No, it wouldn't. I've already shared words hurt people. But I don't think, and there may be times where somebody might think that that's appropriate. I don't know. But then where do you draw the line and stop? Like, they take all the swear words out of the language as well. You can't use those anymore because lots of people, believe it or not, take massive offense to the use of any swear words being used. Even just the spelling out of a word can be triggering for people. So somebody might not say the word, but they go and spell it. That can be super upsetting for people. So, you know, these words are here. Hopefully people will use their brains, or hopefully we can use our brains in terms of how we use them, where we use them, when we use them, etc. And and just crack on. Anyway.
Let's get down to the reason that you and all of the media, you're trying to destroy me with the fabrication.
We're trying to give you.
You're blackmailing people. Okay. You're lying. Listen, you're blackmailing. Okay. I'm not lying. Or let's blackmail people who are in your meetings, in your interviews, whilst young men are being.
And you are the man making the allegation.
Oh, in order. I'm not. You just heard people making the allegations. I'm not the man making the allegation. You've heard loads of witness statements to my solicitor. Now let me go to the next one. Let me go to the reason why.
I have to ask you a question.
You can ask me a question in a minute.
Because
you can ask me a question in a minute. He's really very, very good at speaking. Well, they're both good at speaking over each other. Tommy's very adept at it as well. I'm sure this guy's as well. So he said he wanted to ask a question. Now he's getting into, if we've been on the end of a deception. Let's carry on. What does he have to say?
Let me go to the next one.
I want to know about it.
Okay, let me go to the next one.
Okay.
This is the reason. So that
I want to know about it. I think Tommy is trying to highlight to you through the snippets and the footage of what it is that he's hearing, receiving, and also what this guy Sweeney has been saying himself. He's clearly not picking up what Tommy's trying to put down. I have to admit, I've been a bit confused. I've openly said that in this reaction.
I don't understand the reason why the elite, the classes, elite. Am I accountable? Let me play the next one.
I've never got that done it.
Don't call me an elite. Is that what he said? Don't call me elite.
Why the elite, the classes, elite.
Don't call me elite. Don't call me elite. I get it. It's used as a, I suppose, a classification of a certain class of people who are deemed to be, and it probably is true, I don't know, who are deemed to control the world, who like the Epsteins and the Trumps and the, all that sort of stuff. If you Bill Gates, these celebrities and stuff that have sort of merged into this sickening sort of dark space where human trafficking, child trafficking, pedophiles, all that sort of stuff, where this class of elite people get together, have a lot of money, and have their way with children. And it's just, maybe that's why he's so upset about not wanting to be called elite, or maybe he secretly wants to be an elite. Who knows? But it's mad that if this stuff is out there, how it just continuously gets seemingly covered up. The Pam Bondis and the Kash Patels or whatever of the world, if that's the right name, the FBI director and the Attorney General, Senate hearings, redacted documents. Oh, we redacted all the potential suspects, but we actually released the names of the victims in the documents. But we said that we redacted the documents to protect them. But whoops, here we go. We've uncovered all of the names or names of several victims. Crazy how all of that just continues to nothing get done about it. It's mad. Anyway, let me carry on see what he has to say with regards to elites. Looks like Tommy does stop calling him elite.
Am I a cannibal? Let me play the next.
What a random question. Am I a cannibal? But maybe it'll make sense with this. Let me play you the next one.
I've met Danny. Danny was, I was working on some film on Newsnight, and Danny was in the green room. And it was unusual to meet a white working class male in the Newsnight green room. And I was in the same way.
Who's normally in there?
Sorry?
Who's normally in there?
It was so unusual. But me and my mates, we went down there to have a drink with him in the way that you would do with somebody from the, a cannibal from the Amazonian, from Amazonia, or maybe a creature from that.
So working class white male, is a cannibal from the Amazon. That's what you said. It's wrong.
I don't know if far out the footage and the recording. I don't know if that's what has been said, that he is a white working class cannibal from the Amazonian jungle.
Wait a second. You are a classist elitist. The way you view working class people is a disgrace. The reason we have the problem we have is because a journalist like yourself, from the background you're from, sneering down upon our community, sneering down, thinking you're better than us. And let me just.
My understanding of the Labour Party today is they're almost like running, I don't know, activists.
Well,
it's just showing his bloody forehead.
The point is, you hear much more accents like yours and mine, rather than fuck off, rather than Tommy's.
So the Labour Party, you have accents like the always refer to middle class, rather than fuck off. You believe the working class vocabulary is simply fuck off. That is your classist.
Now that doesn't sound good either for old Sweeney Cakes over here in terms of the comments that he's sharing. Crack up. How are we going? Oh, bloody hell. Red light is showing on my microphone. It's probably low battery, or it's maybe not recording, actually. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. Heston Russell came out after. Oh, okay. In his book, when he told his father, his dad said something along the lines of, "Is that all? I already know, son." What a great response from Heston's dad. That's cool. But it's irrational fear of things. Yeah, man. I'm slightly Islamophobic after watching an Islamic leader saying they have anti-anyone else groups, not hate, just like, bro, that's mental to hate the rest of the world to the point of killing. Yeah, that is pretty mental, eh? That's out the gate, bro. Anybody that is not within your, whatever you call it, group of people or your tribe, then then to hell with you. I always found my gay friends in life have always been far more accepting of straight friends rather than vice versa. That's a great comment, Billy. Islam is a different kettle of fish. Yep. Poeticus had some good friends who followed that religion. Not my cup of tea, but we still respected each other. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, eh? Like you got Sonny Bill Williams is Muslim, as far as I think. Muslim? Islam? Is that the same thing? I think it's the same thing. Yeah, and I think that's largely due to his partner. He seems happy. I don't see him out there doing any inciting any terrorism or anything like that, which is good. What's this? Bang on, everything is relative. Side note, the term gender is a nonsense term, which is one of the root issues of all related discussions, sex being the real term. Okay, cool. Cheers. Loved a lot of your content. Stelio dash there. Thanks for that. Gender, sex, biological sex, biological male, biological female. Yeah, crazy, eh? Some of the stuff in Australia at the moment, I forget the lady's name. I think she's a senator, poor lady. She made a really good point about she's disgusted, finds it absolutely disgraceful that she would, that they're even having the conversation, and that she would need to potentially, her and other biological women would need to have an exemption to enter female-only spaces. Just nuts. Anyway, let's come back to this, because I'm getting bamboozled right now by some of the stuff in here. Can't help but laugh with regards to what Tommy is bringing up and the way that this guy is responding.
If you'll take, what I'm doing here, John, is I'm exposing you, I'm exposing Pat and right now, John, because right now,
so this text was sent to us,
yes,
and this is the text from that source who got that in. Okay. And the text is from you. If you had anything to do with this panorama job, I will fucking bury you, you bitch. Did you send that text?
Point proven. I have video evidence that that did not come from my phone, and here you are about to betray it to an entire nation.
No, I'm going to ask you a question.
I just told you this would be, so right now,
So good thing he filmed all of that, the fake my text piece. I'm guessing that's what he's going to play for this guy now.
Going on a documentary which will air to the entire British public.
It wouldn't be, because we would got the right of reply. No, and here's the right of reply. Is this true? Is this true?
As I expected, they did not bother to verify the offence.
This is true. So seems like he hasn't verified this text. It's probably verified now if he's taken the time to watch the documentary and going, oh bloody hell, got us good there. A whole bunch of other stuff just seems quite comical, really, when I'm listening to it anyway. But I don't know all the ins and outs, and I don't think we've seen all the footage to give it the full context that I think it probably should have or needs.
Of that fake text message in their hunt to take me down. John says he would give me the right to reply, to which I would say it's fake. But the fake allegation that I threatened to murder my ex-female employee would effectively be aired to millions of people across the world. And I'm certain every national newspaper would run with the headline, Tommy Robinson threatens to kill female employee. I wanted to prove, and I've just proved, how easy it is for fake news to be created and for people to be targeted and their lives destroyed.
So does he show, like, that's great, all well and good talking about that, like we can see that on this documentary that he's got, but is he about to show this guy the creation of that fake text, or not?
And just judge, and no, we've all judge. This is a piece of deception.
My solicitor is currying a court injunction against you.
Okay. Oh, fantastic.
Against you. So
is this a lie?
This is fake news exposed.
Very good.
Okay.
Is this a
John,
lie?
I suggest you get
Robinson. Yes. Is this a lie?
I never sent that message from this phone. This is my phone.
Oh, you didn't send it from that phone.
It wasn't sent from the phone. I didn't send it.
Hold on. It wasn't sent from the phone. I didn't send it. Is this a lie?
You'll be able to catch it all.
Is this a lie?
You'll be able to catch it all in my.
Why Tommy doesn't just answer the question and say it is a lie? We created this for the purposes of this documentary or whatever. I don't know why he doesn't say that. Like it almost sounds like he did say that, because he did say those words, right? But he was working in collaboration with Lucy Brown, apparently a psycho that somebody's put in the comments here, together to go, okay, we're going to do this thing and you send me this message. And then he does say this, and then she does some grammatical adjustments, removes the word or the spelling of you with Y-O-U to just the letter U. So he did say those things, but for the purposes of of this so that she could take something to meet with the journalist, in this case, this John Sweeney, and go, here, this is what he sent me. Yeah, take a screenshot of it, which he's which he's done. I would assume he's confirmed it with Lucy, who is playing the game for all intents and purposes by the sounds of things, and going, yeah, I received this from Tommy. Why Tommy doesn't just explain this here and now? It seems like he's trying to avoid it, which just almost, if you didn't watch this documentary and if BBC just clipped and edited this piece and just showed this, it could almost be interpreted as Tommy's guilty. Like that is what he sent to one of his females. And it implies that he's threatening to kill her when he says bury you or bury her if she gets involved. I don't know why he doesn't just explain it.
No, we have finished.
We finished. No, we have finished. In fact, John, you've finished your career. You've finished your career. I know something. I know something. Homophobia.
Has he finished with his career? I'm sure he's probably still working there. Unless somebody knows, maybe I'll do a search of John Sweeney later, see if he's still working for the BBC Panorama.
I'm not a homophobe.
You are.
I'm not a racist.
You are.
I'm not. What you was is a lie.
What the establishment? What the establishment was about to do to me, and they were going to destroy my name, sexualise comments.
Why didn't he just show the clip of him sitting down again with Lucy doing the text? Like, you've already got it in this documentary. Could have just shown it there and then to answer this guy's question.
Yes, you are.
None of these things.
Are you working the Home Hating documentary?
No.
Have they been present in interviews?
We have had some input from some
Have they been
people,
present in interviews?
including your spies.
Have they been present in interviews?
Not
John,
not,
you are fake news. You're fake news.
No.
You've been creating.
This is a lie, Tommy.
You've been proving.
You told us
this
a
is
lie.
You're on
And you,
camera.
sir, are the source of the lie. The idea that I'm homophobic, that's not true. This man has lied to us through people.
Well, he's got this guy up and out of his chair now trying to defend himself and holding up his little paper with the text message and everything now. So Tommy's achieved his purpose, I think, there for this part. How much longer is left to go? Still a few minutes.
You don't.
So hold on.
So I suggest you prepare yourself. Once this goes live, which it's going to, outside your offices on the 23rd of February, I've got all the evidence of you creating stories, telling sources, and
Hold on a second. Outside your offices, because this is what you do all the time.
Evidence, John.
What you do
You don't
is
know what
you
you're
threaten people.
It's all evidence.
You always threaten people. And the hate.
You're
You
lying.
were taught up
John,
on
don't
that.
talk about hate when you're calling people with this.
Listen, I'm sorry I'm called somebody.
Oh, you are? Oh, you are sorry. What about, are you sorry to the Greeks? Are you sorry to the Irish community? Are you sorry? You insulted a Greek woman by speaking circus to her. You said you found it funny. It's on camera, John. It's on camera.
No, but
You said you would sexualise. You said you would sexualise my comments that were innocent.
No.
Yes, you did. You're on camera,
No,
John.
I didn't.
No.
No.
The world's
Anyway, this is a lie. Good luck with your injunction.
Good luck, my injunction.
We haven't finished on Panorama.
No.
And stop threatening people.
You finished.
shouldn't threaten Julia Redner. You think I'm finished? I've got another thing coming, and I can give you that for free.
Can you?
Okay, good. Go and find a lawyer.
I've already been with a lawyer, John. I've already been with a lawyer. I've already dissected every one of your comments.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
What you've done is read the worst possible thing on it. I can defend every second of it.
word.
Yes,
And on that note,
and I will.
You-
And on
you
that
are-
note,
Well, John A says he can defend every second of it. Crack up. Well, I'd love to know what happened. Does John Sweeney still work for the BBC? Still work for Panorama? I'll tell you what, if he doesn't, there would be, I would say there's one person, John Sweeney, that would have a massive vendetta that he would want to try to get back against Tommy Robinson. If he has indeed lost his job. He probably hasn't. He's probably been given a promotion.
all I'm saying
The
to
establishment, you work for the establishment.
none of these people are the
No,
establishment.
you are. You're working with Hope Not Hate, you're working with the government, and you are all going against
I'm
me
not
because I speak
working
out.
with the British
This
government.
is a campaign.
I understand some of the anxieties that you have. I get that. And
Why would you be creating one? Why would you tell someone what to say about me? Why would you
I
tell them?
didn't do that, and you're mischaracterising me.
You didn't do that. Everyone's going to watch this.
No, I know
Everyone's
everybody's going to watch it, and
Yeah.
it'll be good fun. But more people will watch
Good
on
fun.
Panorama.
You
because-
find tell it. No, please,
No,
please.
no,
This is my life, John. It's my life.
It's my life too. It's my life too,
You
Tommy.
find it fun.
And I
You
get
find it
fun.
fun to tell someone that an innocent comment is sexualised. Do you know what that would do to
No,
my family?
okay.
Do you know what it does to my children?
Hold on.
Do you know what you're doing?
Okay.
Do you know what you're doing to my family? You have no idea what you're doing to my family. If you look away with what you were trying to.
That's where you can see and feel here where this escalates. You start bringing in people's family, and he's got a good point. Like the way that would be viewed and interpreted, media by and large, seem to not really have much of an interest in some cases, it would seem. When they line somebody up and get them in their sights, like, seems like they don't really care what the collateral damage could potentially be, or the impact, and or indeed whether or not something that they're sharing or about to share is actually truth or not. It's mad. It's crazy. You can see here Tommy getting, rightly so. I think maybe this is before, because I think what I heard on the Kyle Stefanovic show is that he's not with his wife anymore. So yeah, I believe this is obviously well before that. But I could not even imagine the toll that what Tommy's doing must have on the relationship, on the family, just everything, the pressure and everything that not only he must feel, but also his partner or his wife has to carry that too. Children, other family members, friends, employees, which obviously the BBC and Panorama have tried to reach out to in an effort to get dirt or information to run stories on Tommy, which don't seem like they're accurate or true.
Do to me. You'd have ruined me. You'd have broke my marriage. You'd have broke my marriage. What you've done is this. There's only one journalist in this room, John, and it's not you. Okay?
Oh, really? Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
You're a disgrace. And in fact, anyone who's been taken down by Panorama, anyone has to challenge now, because there is no integrity in any of the work you've done. You are a liar, you're a fraud, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, all in one interview.
This is a lie.
Okay, well, you're in trouble as well. We're all in trouble. You're all in trouble.
We invited you for an interview today, and you haven't given us an interview.
No, I haven't. I've explained. Okay? You were trying to destroy my life.
Good old mate coming in the end there. We invited you for an interview. You haven't given us an interview. Well, because he had an agenda. Tommy, he prepared himself. He had an agenda to come in there, which was to share the stuff that he's shown. So I think he's made that pretty clear. And for the purposes of his own documentary, he's got his footage. Like, I'm sure Panorama and the BBC had their own agenda too. Like, yeah, they did invite him for an interview, but they had their own agenda. They had some papers already ready to go with the fake my text message that he did in collaboration with Lucy that we saw in the footage that he's holding up in front of Tommy Robinson. So clearly there's agendas all around, right? And maybe this guy here is a little unsatisfied that their agenda needs didn't get met and Tommy's did.
You have been contacting people. Why were Hope Not Hate present? Why were the leaders of a far-left George Soros-funded organisation, why were they present during the interview of a person which you were goaded into the...
I wonder how there's other people feel. Obviously, that lady feels very uncomfortable. She was there. She's moved back to get out of the camera. I don't know why. They're already in the camera shot. But I wonder what goes through these people's minds that work for organizations like this. I wonder if they see or if they're aware of these sort of meetings and the manipulation and stuff that happens to try to get information or create a story, fabricate a story about somebody. I'd like to think that if they were aware, if they saw that their moral compass would cause them to do something about it, or like take action, or but maybe it doesn't. Maybe that what is it? Maybe they're just like-minded and similar, and they think that there's nothing wrong with it, and or they just want to get ahead in that game of which they find themselves immersed in. Crazy, but anyway.
Bad information about them. Why were they present? Tell me. If this is a Panorama documentary, why were Hope Not Hate present?
This is an ongoing documentary.
This is an establishment attack on me and your party, and you've been exposed to the world tonight.
Be damage control? What's the damage control?
So let's summarize.
It's probably none, right? There's such a big organization. and they've got the eyes and ears, and dare I say, potentially the minds and hearts of the vast majority of people, that it probably doesn't matter. Yeah.
What you've seen. You've seen the BBC, who pride themselves on being impartial and reporting the truth. You've witnessed the main man from Panorama telling someone what to say, brokering a deal on what they have to say about me. Now, if he's broken a deal with her, who else has he broken a deal with? Who else is being told what to say? They're scripting the documentary. They're also creating and inventing news. Sexual thing against Tommy Robinson. What else? When we've got 2 other people saying they're being blackmailed in order to give negative reviews of me. Who else would have participated in this documentary?
Now, I think those 2 other people that he's speaking about, who we heard recordings of, like, I reckon it likely has happened, just a personal take. It would be better if there was like video footage and all that sort of stuff as well to support it. But, you know, it's going to be very hard to win anything from that, I think, in a legal setting, I guess, unless they've got some sort of recording or footage or whatever of those threats and that sort of stuff taking place, or communication trail. But then again, even the communication trail will probably be suspect too if we've got all the fake my text stuff available out there. Fake my email, is that probably next, or is that something that already happens?
What else was going to be said? What other lies and manufactured evidence would there have been on this documentary? You've seen the contempt they have for the working class. The contempt they have for you, the licence fee payer. You pay your licence fee, and if you don't, you're taken to court. Just so the elitist fake news journalists can travel this country drinking champagne on your expense. Now, if there's one thing that symbolises the BBC, we all know.
Yeah, that's pretty rubbish, eh? That's like the reaction I did of Shane Jones here in NZ, travelling over to Toronto for 4 days or 4 nights or whatever it was, 63 grand, $1,600 a night for 2 people, $13,000 hotel bill for 4 nights or whatever it was, vehicle on call, and an approved budget initially of 33,000 or whatever. Ended up being 63,000. So, and it got approved, it got signed off. But all is good though, because Shane said due to his advocacy, he brought in $200 million worth of investment into NZ. I think I mentioned in that reaction, if that's the case, great. Like, media could show that as well. Like, I think that's a good thing. It'd be good to know how that benefits the country. You know, $200 million of investment coming into NZ. Awesome. How does that benefit New Zealand? Does it create jobs? Like, what is it doing? That'd be worthwhile knowing. Like, I'd be interested in that. But at the same time, you know, it is disappointing that 63 grand is spent on a trip for 4 days, personal vehicles, $1,600 a night on a hotel. I don't know that you need to spend that much. No doubt it's probably first class return flights. Maybe the flights, because it's such a long trip, I have no issue with that. Like, if they're going to be traveling first class or business class, probably business. It's still a comfortable enough flight. And business versus first class, $1,600 a night for 4 nights, I think, is a bit, you know, excessive and over the top in terms of accommodation wise. Member of Parliament or not, because it's funded by the public. So what Tom is talking about here, BBC being funded by the taxpayers, like, it's not a good look to be, I don't think, be going around splashing the money on expenses on massive amounts of alcohol, or as much alcohol as you like. Yeah, just, and then whatever else that money is getting spent on. It's doesn't seem like a very good use of funds, and obviously not very well monitored or regulated to ensure accountability and that people stay within allocated budgets for what it is that they're supposed to be doing.
About the fake news, I've just proved to you that they create the fake news, that it's not impartial, that they work with far left extremist organisations. That's been proven. If there's one thing that symbolises them, the BBC covered for Jimmy Savile, they covered for Stuart Hall. Up to 100 children were raped and abused, many of them on the property of this organisation. Let me show you this statue that is at the entrance to the BBC. That statue was sculptured by a man called Eric Gill. Eric Gill was a paedophile. He raped his own daughters.
Holy
he had
heck.
sex with...
Holy heck. The sculpture on their building was done by a pedophile. And it's there on the... One, it looks like a real crap sculpture in the first place. Why you have an adult male standing behind a young boy naked and people think this will be a great sculpture to put up here in this building, unless you're not all there, unless you're a pedophile like this guy is talking about. Like, I don't know who this sculptor is. I'm just going off what Tommy's saying. But unless you're bloody a few marbles short upstairs and or in conjunction with that, you're a pedophile, I don't see who in their right mind looks up at that building and goes, what a magnificent piece of art that is. Like, unless you're bloody nuts.
of animals. He had an incestuous relationship with his sister. When the Catholic Church became aware of this man's crimes, they removed and covered all sculptures made by him. The BBC...
Why not that one?
Were asked to, but they refused to. If you have disgust now, and you're fed up with paying...
Wow. The BBC refused to. Like, are they part of Epstein? Like, there's... Holy heck. Why would the BBC refuse to if the Catholic Church, we won't go down that rabbit hole, has, what did he say, covered or removed them? Just, why wouldn't, so even if the BBC refused to, why wouldn't the government step in and go, nah, take that rubbish down, like destroy it right now? It's crazy.
For this, or for the propaganda they use against you, for the negative portrayal of Brexit. If you're fed up with all of these things, what can you do? I'll show you what I'm going to do, and I hope you follow my lead. You can legally not have a TV license in the UK. You do not have to have one. Okay? None of us ask for the BBC to come into our homes and display their programmes on our TVs. If you're fed up of paying for their propaganda and you don't even watch their shows, you can follow the steps I'm about to take you through now to end that. There's a few things you need to know once you've filled out these forms. It's a myth that the BBC can sit outside your house and detect that you're watching TV. That is a myth. It's not true. If the BBC TV inspector knocks at your door, you can. Be polite. You should be polite. You can open your door, say, I don't need a TV license, I haven't got one, goodbye, I don't watch live TV. That's it. They have no rights to come into your home. It's obvious that if a TV license inspector walked past your front window and you had your curtains open and you were watching Panorama on BBC, which I don't think you will, but if you're watching BBC, they will fine you. But you do not have to have a TV license. And I'm going to take you through the steps. I'm going to ask, please follow these steps now. Follow exactly what I'm about to do. Go.
Crazy. Well, it's good. I'm going to leave that there because I'm not in the BBC. I'm not in the UK, so, and I don't have a license for there. What's this? Sorry, just trying to. Where did I get up to? Heston Russell. Yes. Rational. That's mental to hate the rest of the world. Yeah, read that. Had some good friends who followed that. Read that. Bang on. Everything is relative. Oh, yeah, that was the sex portion, not the genders. Cool. Like that time they tried confusing us about what a woman is. Yeah. What is a woman? Bloody hell. Sweeney resigned from the BBC. They never aired the documentary they were doing on Tommy. Oh, wow. Is that right? John Sweeney, eh? I bet if that's the case, like he resigned from the BBC, I bet if anybody's carrying a chip on their shoulder and wanting to try to take Tommy down, he's probably one of them. Whether or not he's doing anything about it, I don't know. Off to the gym. Thanks for the live. Perfect timing as always for me. Always go a little further, man. Hey, appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. When those setting up the ambush get ambushed. 100%, eh? Crazy. Oh, well, I enjoyed this. Anyway, I've got, I can see I've just missed some of the alarms on that I'd set for my trades. That's okay. Yeah, it was worth it to go through this. Appreciate the time. People that stopped by here, added in their comments. I don't know that I read all the comments. I think Solly and Daz were probably having a chat by themselves for a while, but I tried to, which is awesome. But I tried to read through as many as I could and then give my take for what it's worth. So anyway, look after yourselves and enjoy the rest of your week. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one.
it.